Good evening and welcome to the Heat Army podcast and, of course, live on DAZN. National League, Enterprise National League action, Gateshead versus Hartlepool United. Somewhat of a derby. I know there's a fair distance between the two sides, but it's the closest game Gateshead have this season, and the neighbours Hartlepool from Teesside are the opposition tonight. There's a few Gateshead links and Hartlepool links between the two sides tonight. We'll go through that when we go through the teams, but first of all, welcome and thank you for joining us this evening. Hopefully you are all ready and nicely relaxed, ready for this one. I've got a feeling it's going to be a barnstormer. Both teams looking to get back to winning ways after starting the season relatively well, but goals and 3 points of late has been a little struggle for both sides. But we'll have to see what happens in the next, 90 minutes when the game kicks off. But it should be an absolutely fantastic game. Right, I'll just go through. There is some links, as I mentioned before. The manager, Simon Grayson, his son, Joe Grayson, plays for Gateshead. So he is wearing number 18 for Gateshead. And, of course, on the bench for Hartlepool, there is a trio of names that are fondly remembered here on Tyneside. And that's Danny Johnson, Adam Campbell, and Jack Hunter. And also as well, there's another link between the two sides. I think Kent Richardson played at Hartlepool, had a contract there for a little while, as did Fenton John, I believe, or he's from Teesside anyway. But of course, there is David Ferguson, who was a stalwart for Hartlepool over the last few seasons and has settled into life here at Gateshead rather well. But it is live and exclusive on DAZN. If you want to watch this game, you can, and it'll be our commentary on there as well. So please do. Listen to that. We've got Neil Robinson has put evening all listening in from the Turkish Riviera, enjoying a rare family holiday. Well, I hope you're having a fantastic time, and hopefully tonight's fare doesn't spoil your holiday. And Liv Walden, of course, has had a big operation of late. I would like to say a big get well soon, and hoping that your recovery is going well. I don't know if you can see on the screens yet, but there is a magnificent away travel that has happened here from Hartlepool. Of course, I think it's only about 39 miles. But we're expecting roughly 900 or more Hartlepool United fans to make their way to the International Stadium here tonight. And it does look as if that's halfway there already on the far side. But I am going to be joined by a co-commentator today. Rather pleased to be able to announce that we're going to have Colin White joining us. BBC's Colin White. Mark Rivers is still under the weather. So we are going to have Colin join us very soon. He's just wrapping up his duties for BBC. And we'll be joined by him. So, and as I said, the audio stream is fully interactive. Let us know where you're listening from. We've already heard from Neil Robinson and Liv Walden, letting us know where they're listening from in the world and how they are. And you can do the same for us as well. So it's, And as I say, we're just getting ourselves all sorted. The teams are in the dugouts there. There is one sign of good news for Gateshead, although they're not involved today. Both Dom Telford and Tyrell Newton going through intense workouts on the pitch. Surely they are not too far away from making their return. Of course, Tyrell Newton hasn't featured this season for Gateshead, and Dom Telford started a goal-scoring start, but unfortunately had a hamstring injury here against Tamworth. So Gateshead still looking to start firing up front. Although Kane Adam has been banging in the goals. Not a natural striker, but he is starting to make that position his own. And it will be tough for Dom Telford to oust him from that number 9 position. Obviously, not number 9 shirt, because obviously it doesn't work like that anymore. Us old people do still remember and call positions by their numbers. But as I say, I will go through the away team just now. We'll go through the game when the teams come back out. Harvey Cartwright is in goal. Jay Ben, Cameron John, Max Coogan, Jermaine Francis, Luke Sharman. The captain is Nathan Sherrin, Alex Reid, Bez Topolage, Matty Daly, Brad Walker, and on the bench is Adam Smith, Nathan Ferguson, Danny Johnson, Adam Campbell, Jack Hunter, Jamie Miley, and Verdane Oliver. For Gateshead, this is how they line up. Tiernan Brooks, Connor Panny, Kenton Richardson is the captain, Joe Grayson, former Hartlepool player David Ferguson, Curtis Edwards, Fenton John, Jacob Butterfield makes his second start of the season, but his first in the National League, Kyle Hurst, Harry Chapman, and Kane Adam. On the bench is Preston Leach, Will Flint, Frank Newbley, Lucas Lowry, Josh Holm, Ben Williams, and Callum Boone. And just as I mentioned there before, they are still teaming in on the far end in the east stand here at Gateshead International Stadium. The Hartlepool fans, the Poolies, they always turn out in force for this fixture, and they have done no different here today. A fantastic away following. And as I say, hopefully the match is worthy of a good crowd here tonight. and both teams striving to get themselves back up the league and back to winning ways. So, well, if you are just joining us, well, thank you. It is a pleasure to be here with you. I am just awaiting my co-commentator. I did ask him late. Noticed he wasn't doing anything, so I've rounded him up and brought him on. We're going to be joined by Colin White momentarily. As I say, at the moment, the league table for both sides is thus. Once it loads up, Gateshead sitting in 15th place on 11 points, and Hartlepool United are a little bit way up the table in 9th on 14 points. It's still very tight in that mid-table area, and a win tonight would go a long way for both sides to try and get themselves higher up the table and maybe into some mid-table security and maybe even push on for those playoffs. But that is something to look forward to in the future. The concentration has to be tonight. It has to be 3 points for either side, and both sides need goals. Also, as well, just a little bit of housekeeping for our audio listeners and our regular podcast viewers. This week's podcast will be on Friday again. Apologies, I know it's normally on the Thursday at 8 o'clock. It will be Friday at 8 p.m. I've got a family engagement, so I can't get out of that one. But the regular podcast will be there on Friday night to talk about, obviously, the match reaction of this game and previewing Braintree away on Saturday. And also, as well, a little advertisement for the National League. As I say, you can watch every National League game live and exclusive on DAZN. Why not get your subscription? $14.99 a month, and you can watch the games live and exclusive. 3 o'clock games, you have to be outside of the country. So please do say if you want to do that. You'll have our commentary there on home games as well, and you'll get to see your team way on the road. So it does all lining up very nicely, and as we await the teams to come out here, I'm just waiting for Colin to get his headset on and his microphone, and we'll be all set and ready to bring you it all as it happens. I'll just talk to Colin to make sure his earphones aren't too loud for him. Are they okay? And
we're all good. Thank you very much.
There
indeed.
we go. Well, welcome to the show. We're joined by Colin White. Colin, it's the first time you've been able to see Gateshead this season. Of course, you've been following from afar. Is there any players that you're excited to see that you haven't seen play already for Gateshead?
Well, funnily enough, I'll sort of give a player that's not actually in that category, but I'm really, really pleased to see Jacob Butterfield back. I think he makes a massive difference in the middle of midfield. But yeah, I mean, you've given me all the intel on how well everybody has played this season, and I think Curtis Edwards is one. Gateshead, basically every good football team is predicated on having a really solid midfield, and Gateshead for years have had some very, very talented footballers that have come through this club and played a season or a season and a half and run games from midfield. So I'm pleased to see Curtis Edwards. We're still missing Tyrell Newton. I think once that midfield three, it depends. I mean, there's lots of different ways of doing it, but I think once he's fit as well and they've got all those central midfielders to choose from, I think there's a lot more to come.
And also it adds in strength and depth to the bench as well, in having that. But, I mean, just obviously looking through the team, you mentioned about Tyrell Newton. Him and Dom Telford will go in through quite an intense warm-up before the game. Obviously not going to be in contention for tonight. Positive signs to see them back on track to getting back to full fitness.
Yeah, and Max Melbourne as well is one at fullback who I think I would really like to see, because I've not seen in person, seen highlights of him when he was able to play. So again, that's talking about strength and depth, that would be two very good left backs, two very different left backs in Melbourne and David Ferguson. But given the exodus over the summer, given the money that we know Gateshead haven't really got as a club, I think the recruitment, and given that Luke Clark is no longer here, who we gave so much of the credit to for all the recruitment in the last 2 or 3 seasons, I think on the face of it, it's been pretty good. And because there are so many, then it's always going to take a bit of time.
Certainly has. And looking to the visitors, of course, there's some notable names on the bench. Danny Johnson, Adam Campbell and Jack Hunter, all fondly remembered here on Tyneside. As I say, their bench is very, very strong, Hartlepool tonight.
Yeah, it is. And obviously the names that, Nathan Ferguson, very, very experienced as well. So there are... It's such an interesting matchup tonight. You've got a team that concedes loads. Alan Armstrong said this. A team that concedes loads and scores loads, relatively, in Gateshead, against a team that concedes hardly any, but doesn't score very many either. I don't know if you... Apologies if you have said this already.
It's going to be an interesting game of chess tonight, I think, to see how each team takes advantage of what perceived weak spots they've seen in each other's games.
Yeah, I don't think Gateshead really do chess. In some respects.
Speed chess, maybe.
Speed chess, perhaps it might be. Yeah. I mean, Alan Armstrong just wants the ball to be got forward at any opportunity.
And that is the big difference from last season, of course, and the seasons, in previous years gone by, where Gateshead have had a serious build-up at the back, as it were, and then get into shape. There's still a bit of that, but there's a lot more variation where the ball will be pinged out to the wings, go up towards the big man, and ball over the top. But there's a lot of variation there.
And that's fine if the players know what's coming and if they've got the brains, football brains, to process all those options at any given time. But if you're at the point where even they don't quite know what's going to happen, so they don't know if the ball's going wide or through the middle or over the top or whatever it might be, or backwards to start again, that's where it gets a bit disjointed.
And I think it gets a little bit forgotten sometimes when you're in the midst of it and being a fan, but the sheer turnover of number of players this year. Yes, there is the core, of Tiernan Brooks, Kenton Richardson, Joe Grayson, and of course Jacob Butterfield, and but a lot of the other players, it's a bedding in period still.
Yeah, I mean, even players who've been around the club in some sense for a little while, like Connor Panny and like Fenton John and like Kane Adom, and those on the bench, they haven't played. I mean, there's only really two, because I don't think Joe Grayson missed so much of last season that basically Tiernan Brooks and Kieran Richardson, Kenton Richardson, are the only two that played properly and played a chunk of last season for this team. Butterfield obviously didn't through injury after November. So, there's a huge turnover. I know this is a club that is used to lots of turnover of players, but from one season to the next, and because it had to happen quite late in the summer as well with the transfer embargo up to that point, I think there's still time. And as I say, I mentioned to you before we came on air, there's been a few games where Gateshead have been outclassed and been outmuscled, and I think that can be expected with how young the side was in the earlier games. But they are still competitive, and if they can cut out the silly mistakes, then it can be rectified. In some ways, the league tables doesn't really mean anything after 10 games, but if you want it to mean something, yes, they're 3 points off the relegation zone, but they're also only 5 points off the playoffs. And win tonight and go level with Hartlepool, who are one of the better football sides in this division. So look, we are still very, very early. There's an FA Trophy run to come. There's an FA Cup run we hope to come as well. So I know I've talked about this on Radio Newcastle just sort of 10-15 minutes ago. There is an expectation among supporters that every season should be better than the last, and that's every football club around the country, and that's fine. But this is it's basically not the same team. It's barely the same club as last season.
Exactly. There's managing expectations. But we'll go through the lineups now. The teams are out on the pitch. For Hartlepool, this is how they line up. It's Harvey Cartwright, Jay Ben, Cameron John, Max Coogan, Jermaine Francis, Luke Sharman. The captain is Nathan Sharon, Alex Reid, Bez Topolage, and Matty Taylor and Brad Walker. On the bench is Adam Smith, Nathan Ferguson, Danny Johnson, Adam Campbell, Jack Hunter, Jamie Miley, and Vidane Oliver. And this is how Gateshead line up this evening. Tiernan Brooks, Connor Panny, the captain Kent Richardson, Joe Grayson, of course, son of the manager of Hartlepool, Simon Grayson. We've got David Ferguson, Curtis Edwards, Fenton John, Jacob Butterfield makes his first league start of the campaign, Kyle Hurst, Harry Chapman, and Kane Adom. On the bench for Gateshead, it is Preston Leach, Will Flint, Frank Newbley, Lucas Lowry, Josh Holm, Ben Williams, and the exciting prospect Callum Bone. And for our audio listeners, would you say that's a honey yellow or a mustard for the Hartlepool strip?
Oh, I was going to go orange. So
orange,
do you think that's more yellow than orange?
Well,
I know this is no use for the audio listeners.
No, for audio listeners.
I'm going orange.
You know what it is? Since it's orange, when they had the training tops on, it did look more mustard to me.
That's what it is.
So yeah, so
I'm going light orange.
But we're going through the coin toss at the moment in the centre circle. I've said this a few times in the build-up, but if you're just joining us, a magnificent away following from Hartlepool United. Of course, I know some people don't class this as a derby, but for me as a Gateshead fan, you always want to be in the same league as Hartlepool and play them. It was going to be a bit of a derby. And I think as a North East spectacle, I think we can call it a derby.
I think we can absolutely call it a derby, yeah. And you're right, the crowd was always going to be big when it's a relatively short distance to travel, but they are noisy, and you get the feeling they will be noisy throughout the game as well. And you need that in a stadium like this that everybody knows is a long way from the pitch.
I find it, I think it'd be hard pressed to find someone that doesn't like Hartlepool fans. Maybe Darlington, but I mean, obviously the social media presence on last days of the away games of the season, they're always very notable. But Gateshead are going to be shooting towards the River Tyne, Hartlepool towards the Felon End. We're all set and ready to go. And say thank you for joining us live on the Heat Army podcast, and of course live on the Zone.
First 2 or 3 minutes are really, really important. I know that's it's the same with every football match, but when it's two teams that haven't won since end of August, for one of them to get a foothold in the first 2 or 3 minutes of this game could really be important, really set the tone here.
I think it would be imperative for someone to try and stamp some early dominance, but Tiernan Brooks has pinged the ball over to the far side. Hurst loses out in the aerial battle, but Kent Richardson can put it back up that right-hand channel, comes back to him. And at the moment, Hartlepool on the attack as Jamie Reid has the ball now. Alex Reid, sorry. And driving forward with the ball is Francis. Right-hand side of the box, tries to lay it off, poked away, but only as far as the Hartlepool curled in towards the back post, headed away. And at the moment, Hartlepool starting to get that ball into the box in the early stages. And, starting at a real pace here, Colin.
Yeah, we wondered who would start better, who would start stronger, who would have the first move of the game. The answer is the team in light orange.
It's a
threat down one side and now a threat down the other as well.
Well, throw in on the left-hand side at the moment, all the way back. And at the moment, Hartlepool, through Cogan, can play the ball over to Ben. Ben skips past Chapman. Still brings the ball forward. Francis is trying to make a dart run on the right-hand side, but Alex Reid nods the ball towards Tiernan Brooks.
I'm sort of not worried how easy and free a header that was because he was in the 18-yard box and Kenton Richardson knew there's no pace in the cross, no pace on the header either.
Kane Adam feels he was wrestled from behind, but I just think that was a stronger player in that moment of passage of play. But at the moment, both sides trying to move the ball. Hartlepool, I would say they settled a little bit quicker, but we're only 90 seconds in, but they've seen a little bit more of it. But Gator can try and attack now. Butterfield puts it out to Ferguson on this left-hand side. Chapman in front, but it goes in the centre to Adam. Adam tries to get round his man, and Coogan does very well to marshal that one.
Yeah, just going to have to be a little bit smart, a little bit brighter than that, Kane Adam. He's the last player we should be criticising overall, given the way he started the season, and given that he is still playing out of position. Let's be honest.
Well, you say that, but he leads the line very well. Yeah. It's been, some of his finishes have been, classic Kane Adam cutting in from an angle, but there's been the Fox in the box goals as well, where he's touched it and got himself space and shot from an angle where the goalkeeper wasn't expecting it. So he is doing the work, and you've got Frank Nubler with Premier League experience on the bench, keeping him out the side.
Yeah. Oh, he offers plenty, and I think in a defence that isn't just going to give you a chance. You're going to have to create them. And Nubly is great at bringing other strikers into play. But in a team like Hartlepool, they just don't give you any space, don't give you any time. You need someone whose movement might be quicker than the two centre halves, and Adam is that.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a regimented display from a Simon Grayson side as well.
Yeah. Well, look, if you've only conceded 4 goals in 10 league games, you're doing something right at the back.
A free kick given to Hartlepool there. Push off the ball. It's an opportunity for Hartlepool to get the ball up and around the area. As Jay Ben makes a run, but wasn't seen. Now on the left-hand side, what can Hartlepool conjure up? Trying to go up against 2 men. Ball comes in, but at a ridiculous pace. I don't think he got the contact he wanted there, and we'll say that was a shot.
Well, I think it was a cross, but there's absolutely no curl on it whatsoever. I think
it's just skimmed off his boot, hasn't it?
Yeah. Maybe nitpicky, just allowed to run maybe 5 or 6 yards further than I would have liked him to be from a Gateshead point of view.
That's probably been one of the things this season where Connor Panny, of course, playing right back. One of the player that I don't want to call him a utility player, but he finds himself playing in different positions, and you're struggling to find out what's his best position.
And I don't think he knows either. And I don't, we've seen him play just about everywhere for Gateshead, but also for Blythe and elsewhere, Morpeth as well, wherever he's been on loan. And he's very, very useful. But it's tough if you're not playing week in, week out in the same position.
Well done, Kent Richardson. Under pressure of the Gateshead defence. Can they get this ball out as Edwards plays it back to Tiernan Brooks? We're just seeing the pressure there from the front men for Hartlepool. They're not going to let these Gateshead defenders breathe tonight.
No, and that's where your centre-half pairing of, they are experienced, Richardson and Grayson. They've got to be able and confident to just put the foot on the ball and say, no, we're dictating the pace here when we've got the ball, not you.
Well, Fenton John in the centre just plays it through. It's a nice bit of vision. Butterfield gets the ball out to Chapman on this left-hand side. Ferguson's made a forward run, and it's back to Butterfield. Gateshead all inside the Hartlepool half at the moment as Chapman, left-hand side, tries to skip past his man. Turns back on himself, cuts in, does well to lay it off to Edwards. And Butterfield, 2 very experienced players, both European and higher up the football ladder in England. As Grayson judged to have pushed down Francis. I think the referee's always going to side with the defender there.
It took him a long time. I mean, he went to ground the Jermaine Francis, and that wasn't the point at which the free kick was given, but then he was sort of obstructing it and then stood up, and then finally the referee decided it was a free kick after all that.
Back, wasn't it? Yeah. Someone's come up with on the audio stream on there. They've said, "Is it tangerine milkshake?" I've never really.
It's not a thing, surely.
It's a great descriptive way of doing it, but at the moment, Ben latches onto the ball and put it through. Gateshead Chapman tried to get the ball to go around his opponent, but quickly taken the throw in. Ben plays it inside. And at the moment, Hartlepool just trying to get themselves on the ball a little bit more here. As John brings the ball forward. Out to the left-hand side, now driving run. He just has to check himself. Inside. As Connor Panny tries to stick with Luke Charman, the former Darlington man, of course, and Rochdale.
I know that one's run out of play, but what Gateshead are missing, not just tonight, but generally, is someone that just sits in front of the back four. And I don't want to talk about players that aren't here, but are Regan Booty, basically. Hartlepool have got that at the moment, in that Brad Walker is just sitting there in front of the back four, gets the ball off them, but can also break it up. And Gateshead are just missing that at the moment.
Yeah, that's been the missing part everyone's kind of identified, and I think Alan has as well in pre-match interviews and stuff. A good win in the air by Kent Richardson. The ball's back with Grayson, who sees Butterfield in the centre. Edwards plays it out quickly, but Hartlepool can clear the ball, and Tiernan Brooks has to come out and clear that one. I think, great work from Chapman to get back and win the ball back as he drives down this left-hand side. He's still going. He's got two players around him, and he wins a throw-in for his troubles.
Yeah, I mean, he's what has he won? 25, 30 yards there, but just released all the pressure as well. It's a really good run that down this left wing.
Ferguson holds the ball aloft. Of course, he was a stalwart for Hartlepool United for many seasons. Edwards turns. There's nothing in the centre really, but Butterfield did try to get the ball and win another throw. Gateshead, fortunately, there. Well, Jermaine Francis didn't realise it was a Gateshead throw. Ferguson plays it inside to Butterfield. Butterfield keeps the ball under control. Does have Chapman back to Butterfield. Can he cross the ball in? He can, but Coogan's there to clear it away as Grayson played it forward. Intercepted though by Jermaine Grayson, who gets the ball moving out to the left-hand side. Sharman gets it under control. He's got the overlap on the left-hand side. Can the delivery come in? Just slowing down. I think Alex Reid was screaming for that ball quickly, and it wasn't forthcoming.
Good quick break in terms of pace. That final ball really let him down.
That's poor from Gateshead, and Alex Reid gets a shot off. Tiernan Brooks makes a shot there. Gateshead dispossessed in midfield. Just need to move the ball a little bit quicker. But Tiernan Brooks down to his right-hand side.
It's interesting, Alan Armstrong talking beforehand about Saturday, wanted the ball to go forward as quickly as possible. That is what they were trying to do there, Gateshead, and it just wasn't on. So they played it forward for the sake of it, ended up losing the ball, and that's a very good save. It's first time he's really had to touch the ball with his hands, Tiernan Brooks. That's a really good save.
That's the first corner of the game. It's going to come in from the far side. 9 minutes gone. If you just joined us, it's 0-0 here at Gateshead International Stadium. Gateshead versus Hartlepool. In comes the delivery. It's a floated cross in there and just managed to be headed away by Gateshead, but it's put back in an athletic attempt there, and trying to see who it is that got the twist and turn on that for the volley. But I think it was Matt Daly. But it's a corner nonetheless.
Didn't get much distance on it, but a really good header from Fenton John just to stop to get his first head on the ball, basically, just to stop anyone getting a run on it there. And then after that, you're flailing at it to try and get a shot on target.
Kenton brings the ball out. Reid doing a good job of closing down the angle so he couldn't pass it back to Brooks or Grayson, but Connor Panny working hard on the far side. Now Kane it on, plays it in the centre to Hurst. Hurst just gets it out his feet. Past the post, and there's a corner. Must have got a hand on it, Cartwright. But he got that ball from underneath his feet and the shot away really quick there, Hurst.
He did brilliantly. I wanted him to go into the 6-yard box as soon as Adam was wide right, but Adam looked up, saw where he was. It's a terrific touch and shot. You're right, under a lot of pressure to get that away, get it what we assume is on target, because it's been saved and it's a corner. Best chance Gateshead have had by a distance.
Definitely. I'll say short corner as Kane wasn't the first to it, as cleared by Reed. Connor Panny gives the ball to Fenton John. Fenton John calmly gives it back to Tiernan Brooks. Of course, this time last year was involved in the Irish under-21 squad. I think he's just aged out of that now.
Don't mind that in some ways. He was missing when Gateshead most needed it, or not when it most needed, when he was in such a good run of form, because the international window didn't quite correspond with the National League fixtures.
Still highly thought of in the Irish setup, though. And Gateshead have a throw in just in front of the Hartlepool dugout. Ferguson gives the ball to Adam. Back to Ferguson. Inside to John. If he looks up, there's Hurst on the far side, and he does find him. Just get the ball under control and plays it inside, gets the ball back, and just a little bit too much on it from Butterfield, and good defending from John on the far side there.
It's not quite clicking, but you know what everyone is trying to do, and they're getting forward and they're getting wide, and they look like a team. And this 11 hasn't started a game together before because Butterfield's here for the first time. I actually think the ideas are all right. They're all good. They've started quite brightly. They've not looked particularly troubled at the back. So, yeah, that's a relatively positive 11 and a half minutes.
Well, Gateshead do intercept the ball, and Hurst has to control it on the far side, gets it inside to Butterfield, who just runs into trouble. And now Hartlepool can try and break down the left as Charman cuts inside, gives the ball to Topolage, and it's back to the back line. Very sensible play from Hartlepool, not trying to rush it. Ben, right-hand side. Francis. And now Gateshead just having to close down the angles there on Matt Daly.
I think this is fine from a Gateshead point of view, though. You just let Hartlepool have it. I know they're inside the Gateshead half, but only just. There's no point going chasing.
Well, just passing the ball around at the moment, Hartlepool. Sharon gives it to Coogan. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. Is that how you would pronounce it?
There's too many O's and U's in that for me to know any different. Yeah, let's go with Max Coogan, shall we?
Yeah.
And there's an offside.
13 minutes gone, still 0-0. If you're just joining us on either live on the Zone or on the audio stream.
And if you are just joining us, the answer to who's played better is I don't know. I think this has been really even. Both sides have sort of built moves that have got 80% of the way there.
They've both made the goalkeepers work. They've both had a corner. It's trying to see who's going to try and assert some midfield dominance here at the moment. But Gateshead do pick it up in midfield through Chapman. Ferguson's on his toes straight away down this left-hand side as an option, who he does use. Back to Chapman. Chapman gets it through to Kane Adam. Oh, and telescopic leg there from Coogan to stop him getting away. And Hartlepool on the attack as Francis does manage to get it to his teammate on the far side. Now Charman can try and bring this ball forward, cuts inside, and Connor Panny following him over into the centre. But now Ben, right-hand side, plays it in. And now it's good movement from Hartlepool out to the right-hand side. Ben down towards 15 yards from the corner flag. Sharman puts the ball in, headed clear, but only it's going to be as far as a tangerine milkshake top as there. The ball cleared away.
It was Charman who got it. That's a great block, though, from Fenton John. I think it is. He's just stood in front of that.
Oh, just frustration there on the far side. I think he had a lot more time than he thought to cross that in.
Hartlepool get from the edge of their own penalty area to the edge of the Gateshead penalty area very quickly when they want to. It's only about 60 seconds ago we were talking about them being patient, but if they decide to go, they really do go, and they are quick.
So it definitely look well drilled. I think, as I say, we've seen Ben and on the far side, I think it's Daly that's got through as well. They've run through, but at the moment, Gateshead just having to do some defending. Good win back from Edwards, and Fenton John was wanting somebody. Gets it to Chapman. Ball over the top, though. Coogan, calm as you like, but it's going to be picked up by Butterfield in midfield. Plays the ball forward to Hurst. Can he open up? So a few shirts getting back now for Hartlepool, but Gateshead still probing, but they need more shirts forward as Butterfield, edge of the area. Nice control, gets it out to Chapman. The ball wasn't the greatest, but it falls back to Butterfield. Oh, no. Well, a speculative shot, we'll say, from Edwards. He took a knock for it in the process, but it's a goal kick to the visitors.
Yeah, there was nothing else he could do, but he knew he was being closed down far too quickly. Numbers. Gateshead just really reluctant. That's the word I'm looking for. Really reluctant to throw too many players forward.
There wasn't any urgency there, was there?
Absolutely. There was from the players that had the ball, and from that three, so Adam and Chapman and Hurst, who picked it up initially, but no support from behind at all.
Brought down by Reed. Dispossessed, but it falls back. Oh, Gateshead do win it in the centre circle. Chapman now, he's got runners in front of him, picks it to Kane it on, but just a little bit too much on it, and Coogan does very well. No nonsense from the big number 5. I do like to say that from a centre half. Nothing silly, just put it out. Kane it on, left-hand side, plays it inside to Ferguson, pulls it back across, deflection. It's going to bounce for Cartwright. And nice movement from Ferguson, linking up well with Chapman tonight.
Kane Adam is everywhere, and I can't decide if that's a good thing or a bad thing, because you want to know as a winger that there is going to be someone to aim the ball at in the middle, and at the moment you can't quite trust that he'll be there. And it's not a criticism, he is just working so incredibly hard. He can't be everywhere at once.
He was covering Ferguson's position there, went out of possession. But at the moment, Cameron John. Charman on his toes straight away down that left-hand side. He was expecting it, and it did come. Does manage to keep the ball in. He's done very well. Ball played forward to Reed on the edge of the area. Holds it up, waiting for support. Turns, puts it out to the far side. And now, can they get a better delivery in the box? They can. It's dangerous. It's nodded on. Oh, straight through. And it needed someone to put a foot out to try and make some contact. But a goal kick it is, and that's a real warning shot.
Yeah, because they've had 3 or 4 crosses, and the first 2 or 3 haven't been particularly good quality. They've gone over the bar or gone straight out play on the far side. That one, I think, did actually find a Hartlepool head. It just skimmed off the top of it. But yeah, any decent contact on that, and Brooks is struggling. But it's about stopping the crosses as far as Gateshead are concerned. I just think they're letting Hartlepool come onto them maybe a little bit too much at times.
Well, Kenton Richardson brings the ball forward up to the halfway line, gets Kane Adam. Kane Adam tries to put it through. Connor Panny is going to get onto that ball, though, and the Gateshead can now try and get numbers in the box as Panny's still going. Went for a shot. Good tackle, but Panny wins the ball back. Edwards Butterfield just skims away from him, but he does bring it in to David Ferguson on this left-hand side. Fenton John calmly gives it to Joe Grayson. Butterfield to Chapman. And Chapman carries it in the centre and drives forward with the ball. He's still going, Chapman. Into the box. He's always just went behind him, but Kane at arm. Oh, he found himself in space. Couldn't get it towards the back of the net. Goalkeeper was kind of planted there.
Yeah, it was just always curling away. Unfortunately, Adam's kind of stuck his toe out at it and didn't get the control on it. Harry Chapman, I know that's not the first time he's done that. Really impressed, because he's now frightening Jay Ben a little bit in that he can go outside or he can go inside, and as a fullback, you don't know where to show him because he's dangerous in both directions.
It's an interesting battle definitely going on down this left-hand side for Gateshead. There's Alex Reed brings the ball down. It's crossed to the far side as Charman brings it down. Can try and open up against Connor Panny, and he does. Drives with the ball. Still going. Puts the ball in. Goes behind the Hartlepool attack, and Gateshead can bring the ball forward as Grayson gets it out to Chapman. Chapman plays it off a Hartlepool player there. I think it was off Francis. But Ben has it now. Right-hand side. Plays it forward. Asking a little bit much of Alex Reed, but they have got a throw in just past the Gateshead dugout.
Yeah, what are we, 19 minutes into the game? Again, there's no real pattern in it yet. I think Hartlepool probably the better, probably the happier of the two sides.
A Reed goes down very easily there, and Gateshead are able to mop up at the back as the ball comes back to Brooks and cleared up to a big empty space as far as Gateshead are concerned on the far side. But Cameron John can get that under control.
What I will say as well, after all that it went through on Saturday, the pitch is looking very, very good again. I know it has been this season, but you never know. I mean, they were watering it beforehand, which tells you how much the drainage had obviously worked after the game had finished on Saturday.
Yeah, as I say, it was just this. Obviously, there was a weather warning in place for the majority of the north of England, and it really did. As I say, it does drain well, but there was just a sheer amount of water and the amount of time that came through. But obviously, we have to say that Newcastle United ladies are playing here, and Newcastle United are helping out in the maintenance of the pitch. Yeah. And you can see as well, because the back end of last season, there was It looked like a park recreation ground in patches. There was bald spots, there was hard spots, but at the minute it's a proverbial carpet out there.
Yeah, it's terrific. I mean, Becky Langley, the Newcastle manager, said it was about as good a pitch as St James's, and certainly from here, and the way the ball is running tonight, Saturday's an exception, the way the ball is running tonight looks absolutely perfect.
At the moment, Kent Richardson just in the centre circle. Plays the ball out to Connor Panny. Inside to Butterfield. Butterfield's been quite heavily involved. Of course, it's his first National League start. That's Hurst, who's on loan from Doncaster Rovers until January. Gets the ball. He just couldn't get it under control. It came just behind him, the flick out from Edwards. And Hartlepool now can build through the centre as Daly puts the ball out to Jermaine Francis. A lovely flick to get some room, and it's a free kick, and he committed for the tackle, and unfortunately for Ferguson, the ball was moving a little bit quicker than he expected.
Yeah, it's a great tackle if you get the ball. I think he's going to get away with a warning, and that's really only because Francis was running towards the corner flag and not running towards goal, because otherwise that is, I think, enough of a lunge that it's a yellow card if there'd been any danger beyond him.
I wouldn't have been shocked if there was a yellow on that one. But at the moment, they do have Brad Walker standing over the ball. They've had a few opportunities now to get the ball in the box. We've seen one great delivery, or two good deliveries, really. Can they get a third? 22 minutes gone, 0-0. There's Walker. Stands. I think this one's going to go right in towards Alex Reid as the ball goes deep and headed. It was a great defensive header from Coogan there, but it's going to shot from the edge of the box. It's going to come, I think, and it's went past the post, not far from Sharman at all.
Lovely turn on the edge of the penalty area as well. Turn with one foot and then strike with the other. Brooks, I think, has got it covered because he's diving and he's seen it early enough. Just interested that Gates said the one player they leave up when they have a corner is Kane Adom, who is decent in the air and is tall, and you think you've got a couple of wingers there who are probably not going to win a header in the penalty area. But Alan Armstrong's a better manager than me.
Well, he hasn't seen my Football Manager stats, so I'm not going to comment on myself. But at the moment, Gateshead in possession. Adam dropping deep to get involved as the ball played through to Butterfield, left-hand side, Chapman. Butterfield has definitely added a more connected dynamic in the midfield for Gateshead. The ball hangs about in the final third a little bit longer, shall we say, than it has done in recent games. But Chapman, Edwards has made a run. He's seen it. It's a lovely ball. Edwards brings it down. Needs support as Butterfield just calmly gives it to Chapman. It was a lovely ball. That was great vision. But Hartlepool defence were back in numbers. Back still in numbers. That's a lovely ball to Chapman. Chapman puts it towards the back post. Panny was lurking. Headed clear by, I think it was Topolage on the far side. And now Connor Panny appeals for a Gateshead ball. Referee was closer than us.
It's really good football, and they got the cross in because a few times it's taken them maybe 2 or 3 touches and passes more than it should to get the cross in. They did that time. Panny's just beaten to it at the back post. It's just the ball just didn't quite have enough on it. But a good Gateshead move.
Good strength from Hartlepool there. They bring the ball forward. Can they get the shot away? They can, but deflected off the Gateshead feet. And Francis can pick it up right-hand side of the box. He's driving towards Ferguson. Ball comes in, deflected away, and Butterfield can clear that up towards the halfway line. But Coogan can get that ball back up the field. And now Walker just having a look around, and Sharon can survey where he wants to put it, carries it forward a little bit, gives it to back to Walker, and Walker now can get the shot away. Cross ball. It wasn't it was Matt Daly actually. Wow. Yeah. Tell you what, I've got a connection from that on the
very well struck that. And again, I mean, I gave Brooks the benefit of the doubt the last time, I think he had it covered. I'm not convinced he had that one covered if it had been a foot inside the post.
Yeah.
I cannot work this game out. Gateshead will have a more positive couple of minutes, and you think, all right, they're building into the game, and then Hartlepool will just break on them really quickly. It's relatively even, obviously it's still goalless, but both sides look dangerous. Hartlepool maybe a little bit more so, if we're honest.
I would say Hartlepool just edging it if we probably look at the stats, but an open game nonetheless, and 25 minutes into the 26th minute here in the first half. If you want to just join us, still 0-0, and a free kick awarded to Gateshead just in front of the Hartlepool bench. Of course, Simon Grayson, probably an appointment that raised a few eyebrows at Hartlepool, with the ball through to Kane Adam. He's got to the ball. He needs support though in the box. Can he conjure up something? Goes for a shot. A little bit of greed there, and appeals for a corner there from, I think it was from Hurst. I don't think you're going to get that, but just meant going back to Simon Grayson, of course, managed, very high up, managed abroad internationally. And, of course, no stranger at the National League, because he was here quite a bit watching his son play for Gateshead.
Yeah, it's an odd dynamic. Can't remember. It must have happened, but a player on one team whose manager is whose dad is the manager of the other team, and obviously was here when he was out of work. Simon Grayson was here quite a lot as well, as you said. So very familiar surroundings for him as well. And it wasn't when he was Sunderland manager, it wasn't always the most exciting football, and that's what they needed to get themselves out of that division, and he couldn't ultimately do it. But he's clearly got this. That they're a nice blend so far, Hartlepool, of solid at the back and but a bit of pace going forwards too.
Well, Gateshead in possession through Joe Grayson. He can bring the ball forward. He's got space to run into and lays it off to Edwards, who's being quite industrial along with Butterfield in midfield at the moment. And Hurst is trying to conjure up something himself, cuts into the middle. Chapman finds himself central. Hurst is still in the centre of the pitch, but Ferguson gives the ball forward as Grayson tries to find the front men and comes back to Kenton Richardson.
Feels like a Gateshead team that's still working itself out at the moment, which is fine because they are.
Hurst edged the area. He's got a few men around him. He's driving with the ball, pulls it back across. I don't think Kane Adam was expecting that to trickle through. And Hartlepool clear their lines. But Charman plays it back to Topolage. Now, the name rings a bell because I remember how to pronounce his name, but I can't remember who he played for before Hartlepool. As Ferguson gives the ball to Joe Grayson. Fenton John under pressure from Matty Daly. Ball over the top, looking for Edwards, and I think he wanted a little bit less on that one. All the way through to Cartwright.
I'm not going to pretend I knew the answer to this, but I have found the answer to it, which is Bromley.
Bromley, yeah. It was a name that was a tongue twister when I first seen
Yes, I can very much imagine.
Cartwright under pressure. Oh, good feet from the goalkeeper.
He's actually still on loan from Bromley at Hartlepool until January.
Yeah. Well, Alex Reid, of course, notable goal scorer in the National League, has lost the ball there. Oh no, and that was a little clatter on the back of Jacob Butterfield there.
I must admit, I thought that was a foul, but nobody else did, including Butterfield himself. So
I think he won the ball.
Goes down as a good tackle then from Sharon.
I think we're so used to any tackle from behind being an instant foul, but that was a good tackle. Butterfield just loses the ball. Kane Adam does battle to get it back and loses out in the midfield exchange, and now Hartlepool through Cameron John can try and reset themselves and get the ball moving. Topolage can bring the ball forward himself. Poor ball forward to Alex Reid, intercepted by Grayson. Now Edwards. Hurst can keep going with the ball. He's lost the ball, but picked up by Butterfield. He showed a nice turn of foot there to get that ball. Kane Adam just couldn't get there. They're asking a little bit much of Adam when he's got that many players around him. But you've got to say that the Hartlepool defence is working very well as a unit.
Yeah, they're about 80% there, Gateshead, at the moment. It's good until they get to that final pass.
Now they're on the break on the far side, bringing the ball forward. Can they get the ball in the box? When it's Topolage on the ball. Cut back now. Can Charman create something? We've seen him cut in and cut one in. Instead he goes to Walker. Walker always rising as soon as he left his foot. There's a deflection there. Didn't see that in real time, but the referee give it straight away.
I hope for his sake it was a huge deflection because it ended up 4 or 5 yards over the crossbar. I didn't look it from here, even with you. I was surprised when the corner was given, but they've got a bit of height. Gateshead leaving 2 up this time, so Chapman is going to force Hartlepool to leave one other back. Although they're going 2 for 2 at the back at the moment, Hartlepool, which is interesting if Gateshead can clear it.
Well, the delivery is coming in. towards the near post, headed clear by Ferguson. It's going to be picked. Francis puts it back out wide as Walker looks for someone to give it to, and a good run from Francis on this right-hand side to get himself in space. Oh, it's Cameron John still up from the corner who wants to take the throw. Not your classic centre-back build, Cameron John. He's quite a small... he's probably bigger than me. But
who isn't?
Yeah. But you look and, compared to his centre-back pair, and there's a bit of a height difference there.
Yeah, but again, as long as your communication's good, right, you win the high balls, you chase the ones in behind it. That's a bit simplistic. But yeah, if your communication's good enough, you don't need that.
Well, Hartlepool trying to build on this right-hand side. Francis gets the ball to Ben. Ben holding the ball up well. Didn't get he tried to get the cross in, but and he's still going. That's not cleared by Gateshead, and Ben takes it towards the edge area, flicks it back. It's good stuff from Hartlepool. They're probing, but they need to get it into the danger area, and it is at the back post. Header away, and it comes off again. Well, I thought that was a corner.
I was about to praise Kyle Hurst for his header at the back post because I thought he'd done really well under pressure to knock it out for a corner.
Yeah.
What should have happened, though, is that Harry Chapman should have smashed that. Either out for a corner would have been fine, but he just tried to shepherd the ball out on this near side, and it didn't go out. And that, Gateshead could and should have cleared the lines a lot earlier.
Tiernan Brooks kicks the ball out to Kenton Richardson. Of course, still some of the old traits of the Gateshead of years gone by, play out from the back. I suppose when you've got the players that are used to doing it and it isn't broke.
That's not, Brooks we know is very happy to come out and play as a sweeper. So when you've got him and then Richardson and Grayson in front of him, it can work.
Lovely ball through. It's just going to get the keeper out of his area and clatters his own player there to clear it. And Hartlepool can get this ball under control. Well done from Fenton John. He had a telescopic leg there to get round Jermaine Francis, and Gateshead can get the ball back under control through Grayson and Chapman. Ball over the top, asking a little bit much of the forward men there. Butterfield's just saying slow it down somewhat.
It's all very fluid, and I can't decide if it's too fluid. Chapman is drifting in and out. Adom we've talked about. Butterfield, admittedly, is kind of staying as that 10. Edwards is trying to move around to get himself on the ball as well. There's not a massive structure to it yet.
Not really. Reed tries to bring Daly into it, but Panapani intercepts, and Gateshead can get on the attack now. As comes out to Chapman up against Ben. Kane Adom wasn't reading the ball, and now Hartlepool can try and bring it forward again through Francis. It's a ball for Ben on this right-hand side. Brought down lovely, though, by Daly, and gives it to Ben. He's driving into the box, lays it in. And Alex Reed, all he needed was a shoelace on that. And I think, to do him justice, I think it bounced over him when he slid there.
Yeah. And it's good covering from Kenton Richardson. I don't think he actually touched the ball or needed to touch the ball in the end, but he made sure that Alex Reed was not getting a good contact on that at all. And no pace on it in the end for Brooks to worry about.
Well, on the halfway line, Kenton Richardson plays it across the defence to Ferguson. 34 minutes gone, still 0-0. But an open and entertaining game. Certainly isn't a 0-0 stalemate.
No, it's been really interesting. And Gateshead haven't quite created the opportunities I think we would like them to. Probably haven't created the opportunities that their possession suggests they should as well, but this is a chance.
Panny tried to play it into the centre, but it has its fell to Butterfield, though. Chapman goes for a curling shot that wouldn't look out of place in rugby, and it's a goal kick. But I think Gateshead found themselves a little bit central there. There was no option on the left-hand side for Chapman at all. I think that's probably the only thing he could really do.
Yeah, I think it was. But he's found himself drifting inside, drifting back out again. He's had success the wider he has stayed. We talked about 15 minutes ago about that battle with him and Jay Ben, and it just hasn't really happened yet because he's started to drift inside Chapman, where he had the beating of his fullback at one stage.
Coogan plays the ball forward. Lovely chest down from Alex Reed, just little coming together there as Francis comes away with the ball. He's got Daly on the right-hand side, who he uses. The delivery has to be good. It is, but too close to the keeper. And really, Alex Reed was just a little bit behind play there, but I don't think that was his fault. And Kane Adom manages to turn Cameron John. He's bearing down, but there's his right-hand side of the box. He cuts in, goes for a shot, and I can see why he went for it, but Butterfield was on the edge of the box there, and he is scoring at the minute. His confidence is high.
I think he's entitled to that. He's done brilliantly to kind of force John under the ball, spin him. Thought the goalkeeper might have come for it, but he's probably made the right decision not to because of how quick Adom is. Was really wide, has done the right thing again, cutting back in. I think he's probably entitled to have the shot, but would have quite liked to have it on target.
Coogan can play the ball to Ben. Ben gets past his man. Ferguson's back to help Mark, but he can still keep the ball moving. And Sharon to John. Topolage. Let's see, we enter the last 10 minutes of the half, and are we to see somebody take the lead as Francis brings the ball forward, lays it off. Topolage plays it forward, and Gateshead do intercept. Nice turn from Butterfield. Brad Walker does well to slow him down, but the ball out to Hurst is a beautiful ball if he can get it moving, and cuts inside of John. Still going, Hurst. Lays it off Francis on the Edwards on the edge of the area. Couldn't get the ball from underneath his feet. But Gateshead, it's scrappy, but Gateshead are picking up the second ball. Fenton John sees Connor Panny on the far side. Didn't have the legs to get there, but it'll fall to Butterfield, who shoots. Oh, wasn't too far away from our angle. And Gateshead, they're creating things, which is a lot better than what we've seen earlier in the season.
Yeah, Butterfield's put his head in his hands, which tells you how close he thinks it was as well. He has had a really good first half, but 10 seconds before that as well, this the turn and the quality to find Hurst on the far side, who hasn't actually been involved in the game a huge amount.
He was off balance when he passed that ball. But so we never doubted the quality of Butterfield, but you always worry when a big knee injury happens, are they going to be the same player? And not to be ageist, but he's not the youngest man in the world. And but he seems to have come back relatively the same player. Gateshead fans in fine voice in the Tyne and Wear stand here. At the moment, as Reed, if he looks up, Sharman's on the far side, but he does find Sharon. Topolage, left-hand side, hugging the touchline at the moment. Tries to open up and does. Can he get the cross in? He can, and it's another deep one. Goes to Francis, nodded back in. Oh, and a great save from Tiernan Brooks. A fantastic save. I think it was Daly that had the header away there, and close quarters, and Gateshead still haven't cleared their lines yet. Topolage with another chance to get the ball in. He does. It's a decent one, headed away though by Ferguson. And well, that was a golden opportunity from Hartlepool.
Just a couple of static Gateshead defenders, I think, who thought the ball was going out. Francis did really well to keep it in and get it across goal at the back post. You're right, Daly's header is on target, couldn't generate a huge amount of power. You'd have been disappointed if Brooks hadn't stopped it. Got enough of a fingertip on it just to divert it away.
Topolage on the left-hand side opens up again. He does have a turn of spirit in the ball, turn of pace, should I say, and his crosses have got better as the game has went on. And it's a real battle for Connor Panny on that far side. But Hartlepool, they've got a little bit of wind in their sails. And, well, as I say that, commentator's curse, the ball goes out to play for a Gateshead throw.
I think that's the difference in the last 4 or 5 minutes. The delivery's just got a lot better from Hartlepool. And they're getting wide, they're getting the balls in, and they're trying to create a bit of chaos. Gateshead, are reluctant to go wide because Chapman's coming in. Hurst, the 1 or 2 times he gets the ball, is keen to try and do something, cut inside and do something with it. They've lost the width. And when they have gone wide, the delivery's not quite been good enough from Gateshead either. So that's just ramped up from Hartlepool in the last 3 or 4 minutes.
Ferguson calmly plays it back to Brooks. And Kent Richardson has space to bring the ball forward in the centre of the pitch. Still moving, gets it out to Connor Panny on the right-hand side, who has Hurst in front, but he gives it back to Richardson. Richardson looks up, looks for a runner, but Edwards and Butterfield are really giving options for the defence to lay the ball off to the midfielders. Connor Panny, Kane at home turns and just dispossessed there. Cameron John making a crucial interception as Reed holds the ball up. Couldn't find a teammate though. I was just about to say he's playing that classic target man holding game there, but his pass was just lacking somewhat on that one. As Hurst gives the ball back to Kenton Richardson. This has been one of Hurst's better games in a few games. Of course, the conditions on Saturday had everyone a little bit wishy-washy, for a better want of a word, but Hurst at the moment puts a cross in. Oh, headed away. It's going to be picked up by Butterfield, though. Gateshead, must say, picking up the second ball has been far better today, but they need to stay switched on as Ben gets the ball moving inside to Daly. Daly gives it to Reed. There was appeals for offside, but he was well on. He's going to try and turn and, well, curled the shot there. There is a deflection. And, well, I didn't think he had got the power on that initially, but very deceiving. And Hartlepool want to take this quickly.
And that is a very important deflection as well, because it took it about a foot wide of the far post. Yeah, it was Chapman caught trying to play someone offside and not succeeding.
Well, Topolage can get the cross in. Oh, the header by Coogan there and over the bar. And, well, they tried to rush that one. Nearly caught Gateshead napping, but the header was miles over.
Just a couple of defensive mistakes from Harry Chapman as well. One pointed out earlier about him trying to let the ball run out of play, and it didn't. And then again, there trying to play someone offside, and you're not in charge. If you're a left midfielder, left winger, you are not in charge of that back line.
You've either got to have the physical conviction to muscle the ball out, or you've got to use muscle and kick it out. And I think he was just caught in two minds in a couple of occasions.
Working very hard. He's in those areas because he's tracking back. But yeah, just a couple of individual mistakes from him there. But he's looked exciting going forward. I do wish he'd be out. He would stick at this touchline rather than drifting in, but he has looked good going forward.
Well, Ferguson finds himself on the right-hand side. He's like a right winger at the minute. Plays the ball forward for Kane at arm. Just a little bit too much on it, and that gives Cartwright all the time in the world to run out and get that. Good goalkeeping quickly off his line. It's J. Ben. Can give the ball back to Coogan. Daly tries to turn his man, does very well to dispense Ben down this right-hand side. He's driving, he's got Reed with him, and a crucial tackle there. Fantastic tackle from Chapman, and it had to be inch perfect, and it was.
Just. I'm still not absolutely convinced he got the ball, but he didn't bring the player down. He just sort of forced him wider, forced him to do something with it and said, "You're not getting past me," which is great. But yeah, I'd probably rather my defenders weren't lunging like that. I'd rather they stood up a bit longer.
I hope he's not listening, because he did a bit of physical conviction there that I was talking about.
That is fair enough. That is fair enough.
He's got an earpiece in at the moment.
I'm talking of physicality as well. There was just in the middle of the Gateshead half there when that move came forward. Jermaine Francis, nowhere near the ball, but just blocked Fenton John off and made sure he wasn't going to chase back either. And that kind of intelligence can get you a chance, can get you space.
It is nice to see the use of the dark arts at times, isn't it? John puts the ball at the Topolage. We've got 2 minutes remaining here. Don't think there'll be many stoppages. There's a cross in there, and that was a dangerous one. Just no one there to commit on it, but picked up by Francis. Francis, oh, good bit of footwork. Gets past Fenton John, plays it in. Oh, great save. I think it deflected off against a player, and it's being cleared only as far as J. Ben, who puts it in right towards the back post. A bit of whip on it, and unfortunately curls out. And
Well, I'll tell you why Tiernan Brooks has gone down, because it smacked him in the face. And I don't think he knew anything about it. Now he's in the right place, so it goes down as a good save. But it did. It took a deflection off a Gateshead player and just smacked him on the head. But again, Harry Chapman, it's good skill to get past him, but it's just a little bit too easy. But he's also being exposed as well. It's not just him, because it's good work from Ben to get past him. But yeah, just 2 or 3 times now, just looking a little bit exposed defensively. Gateshead, they'll take half time here, a minute to go plus however long. Well, Brooks is back up on his feet. He's just having his shoelaces tied by Kenton Richardson. But yeah, once this minute is out and this half is out, I think Gateshead will be quite happy to just get in and regather.
Yeah, I think, as I said, Hartlepool, they'll possibly won't want the half-time whistle at the moment. They are probing. Well, we haven't had the board up for how many minutes yet, but we are 40 seconds left in the first half. Normal time as Kane at arm turns nicely with the ball, gets the ball out to Hurst, right-hand side. He does need to try and find a teammate to get this ball moving still. Does get it back to Connor Panny, and the shape from Hartlepool isn't giving Gateshead many options, but Hurst is trying to drive forward with the ball, plays it into Butterfield. Butterfield, nice bit of footwork to get it out to Edwards. Back to Butterfield. Gateshead just calmly building. keeping possession of the ball as Joe Grayson brings the ball forward, gives it to Butterfield on the edge of the area. Still got the ball, Butterfield. He's done very well. Dispossessed. Adam tries to get a foot on it. And, well, that was the quickest.
It's a 0, by the way. It's 4 zeros on that board. There will be no injury time, which means we're just about done.
There was 1 minute. There was one. Yeah.
Like 4 zeros to me.
Unless it was my angle where I'd have seen one.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. We've played 20 seconds and when we're still playing, so I am going to assume you are right.
Yeah.
That was 1 minute.
Yeah, there we are. Well done.
I'm allowed to get one right a season, you know. At the moment, Hartlepool now in the last minute of the game bring the ball forward, playing it out to Jermaine Francis, right-hand side. Ferguson is back and Hartlepool trying to get players forward as Francis crosses the ball in. Oh, was it tipped over there? I couldn't say. My excuse is people walking past us.
Well, I think that was tipped over. It's going to be a goal kick. I thought Brooks had got a touch on that. Yeah, Gateshead. I said it 30 seconds ago and I'll say it again. They would quite like the halftime whistle to go now because they're just being stretched a little bit too much for Hartlepool.
But as I say, I think this probably will be the last kick, this goal kick of the half. And at the moment, a very open game. Hartlepool certainly edging it. I think you'd have to say. But nonetheless, we're seeing a good game of football. But there is the halftime whistle, and well, I think 0-0. You'd say is probably a fair result. Both teams have flirted with the idea of scoring.
Yeah.
And but the second half, I think there has to be a little bit better movement from Gateshead in the final third. There has to be more men in the box, more options. I think that's been lacking. Could that be because Kane Adam isn't an out-and-out striker? He is trying to get involved. But for Hartlepool, the delivery of their crosses, the amount they've got in, has to be better.
It's a really difficult half to analyse, actually, because I think that sort of both teams are nearly but not quite there. Gateshead, I think you're right. I think Kane Adam's movement is almost too good. There's almost too much of it. He's dropping deep. He's pulling out wide. He's trying to get in behind. He's trying to do everything in one go. And physically, you're just not able to be in more than one place at the same time. But B, it means your teammates just don't quite know what you're going to do next, where you're going to be. But that said, when Gateshead have got the ball wide, I want the crosses in a bit quicker. And then if there's nobody in there, fine, prove a point. Prove the point that somebody should have been there, and they will be the next time. I think Gateshead will be relatively satisfied. Tiernan Brooks has had to make a couple of saves. I don't think Cartwright in the Hartlepool goal has made a save.
I tipped one round the bar, for a corner, but he hasn't been tested as much. Even in an aerial capacity, he hasn't had to pluck one out the air or fist one away.
They look like a team that's developing, Gateshead. I think if everybody, I don't expect Butterfield to play 90 minutes or anything like it, but you've got the likes of Josh Holm, Will Flint to come on and replace him if need be. I think this is a team that will get better through this game as well as through this season. The understanding's nearly there.
Also, as well, I think this could be the type of game where we might see Callum Bowen come in there because there is space, and we know he's a very creative player, so it might be one of these games where we see him come in. But we're going to go radio silent for about 10 minutes. Please come back and join us for the second half. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you with us, and big thank you to Colin White for joining us as well. We'll be back in 10 minutes. Thank you very much. Well, hello there, everybody. Welcome back. We are waiting the teams to come back out here at Gateshead International Stadium for the second half. It's currently Gateshead 0, Hartlepool United 0. I'll go through the scores in the National League at the moment. Half-time scores. Altrincham 1, Forest Green 1, Brackley Town 1, Truro City 0. Of course, 0-0 here. Rochdale are romping away 3-0 at half-time against Solihull Moors. Woking 1, Sutton 0. And a game that everyone was looking at to see, how dominant one of these two teams will be in the National League. Of course, Carlisle have started off like a house on fire. They're there and thereabouts. York City have changed their manager, of course, but York City are 3-0 up at this moment in time in that fixture. I expect more goals in that one, but hopefully, we'll have some goals in this one here. A little bit of housekeeping for the Heat Army podcast. If you'd like to join us on Friday at 8 p.m. Apologies, it's not in its normal time spot of Thursday. I have a family engagement. But we will be back then, and we'd love you to join us, whether you're a Hartlepool United fan. We'd love you to come on and send your messages as well. We want to hear your perspective on the game here today. And as I said, there's lots of links between the two clubs we mentioned before, former players, and of course, manager and son on either side. So please do join us, and we'll be previewing the Braintree game away, and of course Morecambe away next Tuesday as well. And those games are available exclusively on DAZN. So if you'd like to join that, get your subscription, $14.99 a month, and you will be able to watch every game live and exclusive. Except the 3 p.m. kickoffs in the UK, of course. But the teams are coming back out onto the pitch, and we'll let you know if there is any changes. And at the moment, it doesn't look like there is. And I'm expecting more of the same, Colin.
Yeah, and I can't decide if that's a good thing or not. I think it probably is. Gateshead have played all right, haven't they? We'd like them to create a little bit more, but I think that comes from Kane Adom being a little bit more disciplined as a striker, and I know we talk about him not being his natural game, but it's the position he's playing in tonight, and you just want him to stay a little bit more central, because then it encourages Hurst and Chapman on either side to be braver in the overlaps, because they know somebody's going to be in the middle if they get those crosses in. So yeah, I think that's the one. You're right, there's no need for any personnel changes, and there aren't any on either side. But yeah, I'd like a little bit more of a bit more clinical, something a little bit more clinical from Gateshead. Hartlepool, I think, will be having the same conversation internally as well. We need a finish from somewhere.
Definitely. Well, if anyone's watching on National League, I don't know if the camera picked up, there's a lot of people flashing their phones on the far side. I think they're trying to tell their families where they are if they're watching. So have a little look out for that. But as I said before, amazing away following from the Pools. And Hartlepool's going to get us underway. They're shooting towards River Tyne in the second half, Gateshead towards the Fellin end. There's no changes. And for our audio listeners, Hartlepool are still in their tangerine milkshake strips, as someone sent in the description. So I don't think they'll ever hear that again on National League TV, but there's an exclusive for you. Well, we get to have a closer look of Topolage in this second half. And Luke Charman.
He's taller the closer he plays to you as well, Ben. So best Topolage.
Yes, he's looks a bit taller, but Sharon gets the ball out to the far side as Ben looks to find Francis, and he does. And Sharon gets the ball back to Ben. Starting with intent, Hartlepool trying to build, but Gateshead once again intercept, but kind of pick up the second ball. And Coogan gets the ball out to Penn. Ben even. Penn. There's the ball back to Cartwright. And John plays the ball through the centre. Fenton John was trying to close that one down, and now Gateshead can build through Ferguson. Fenton John. And they've just slotted back into where they've left off.
Yeah, they have. I mean, Hartlepool had all the possession. Gateshead barely touched it for 60 seconds. But yeah, a couple of decent interceptions, and now this is the first chance to just put your foot on the ball. In Joe Reason's case, just look up, see what's in front of you.
Connor Panny on this right-hand side lays the ball off to Edwards. Of course, Edwards will a wealth of European experience, played in Sweden for a number of years, I think Norway as well. And very experienced player, still only 31. As Panny plays the ball up to, lovely flick, gets Hurst into play from Adam. Can he get the shot away? Deflection. And, well, he didn't really have the gap. It was more hit and hope from Hurst. And Hartlepool have cleared the ball, but better from Gateshead.
Yeah, really good football. Lovely flick from Adam as well. And yeah, Hurst needs to take the shot earlier because the defender just stands him up and says, right, what are you going to do with it? And the closer he got to the goal, the tighter the angle, the harder the angle was.
Well, Chapman gets the ball out to this right-hand side as Conor Panny gives it back to Chapman, who is having a bit of a free roll at the moment. He's running through. He's still going, Chapman, who's thought he was Lionel Messi for a second there, but he's lost the ball, and now Francis can bring the ball forward on the far side. Alex Reid went down off the ball. Referees played it on, and still Francis has got Ben on the overlap here, who he uses. He's into space, puts the ball across. It's dangerous, goes right through. Tiernan Brooks couldn't get to it, and it's going to be kept in by Topolage on this left-hand side. Real quick bit of play there from Hartlepool as Daly goes for a curling shot, took multiple deflections and goes out for a corner.
Yeah, lovely quick break from Hartlepool, bursting down the left as well. We saw it in the first half how quickly they can get from one end to the other, and I don't know if Brooks has got a touch on it, but just almost too much power on the cross. But yeah, a sign that Hartlepool are dangerous again.
Well, let's see a corner from this near side, first corner of the second half. As the players running now, it's going deep towards the back post. Tiernan Brooks goes to fist it, cleared, hasn't been fully cleared, and well, snatched at it there. The follow-up shot and over the bar. And well, there was a crowd of players anyway. It would have been a magnificent strike to hit the back of the net from there, but it's a goal kick to Gateshead.
Yeah, Brooks made the decision nice and early to come for it, which is what you want, but the ball was just dipping all the time, and he ended up punching it sort of waist height and just not really getting anything on it as well. But
seemed to skim off his knuckles more than anything else.
But thankfully for him and for Gateshead, Matty Daly didn't really get anything on it either.
Well, Richardson. Been afforded a lot of time and space, Richardson and Grayson, to bring the ball forward. There's ball to Chapman. Chapman out. Sorry, Butterfield out to Chapman. Now Butterfield gets the ball back. Chapman does have the overlap with Ferguson. Gives it back to Butterfield, though. Kane it on the far side. Runs, catches the ball across, wins the corner.
Lovely spin. Hartlepool very deep, but that suits Gateshead because it just gives them longer to see what's in front of them and longer for the wide men to get wide. Sounds like a daft thing to say, but it's work. That helps.
I mean, Simon Grayson, obviously, he's got them in a very rigid shape, and it's hard to break down. They are confident and sit back, but that allows Gateshead to carry the ball forward, like we mentioned before with the defenders. But the corner on the far side, there is a little bit of...
There is a lot of shoving going on between Alex Reid and Kane Adom at the front post.
Well, they're both having a talking to there before it descended into handbags. But 50 minutes gone, still 0-0, and the second half has started much like the first half ended. As taken short, flick back, and the idea was there, the execution wasn't, and the ball is cleared. Hasn't went out of play yet, and Fenton John has had to get his running boots on. Pass that back to Tiernan Brooks. Cleared up towards Conor Panny. Neither him or Topolage got to it, but Kane Adam can keep it in. Unfortunately, no one there, and cleared off Conor Panny for a throw.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm a little bit old-fashioned, but if you've got Kenton Richardson and Joe Grayson and Kane Adam and Curtis Edwards in the box for a corner, get it in there.
Yeah.
That's what they're there for.
You know, I can appreciate the short corner if it's taken quickly and it catches the other team.
If it gives you a better angle for a cross, absolutely, yes. But it didn't that time. And there was back heels involved as well, which is always just it just increases the risk.
Yeah. If you're winning 4-0, maybe.
Yes.
Bring out the Olays, but when it's 0-0. Richardson puts the ball out to Conor Panny. Hurst has asked for it and has received. Ball comes off Cameron John, throwing to Gateshead.
I know there's a risk of sounding like a broken record. Hartlepool are so deep. And you're right, they've been rigid. They were rigid in the first half, but they're 10 yards deeper than they were in the first half. And it's just every time Gateshead get the ball, there is no challenge until they're comfortably over the halfway line.
Well, there's a tackle there, and it goes out for another throw, this time level with the corner of the box on our right-hand side. Quickly taken. Edwards holds the ball up, puts it into the centre. The keeper was scrambling, and Chapman is going to be there to mop up and give the ball back to Ferguson. Back to Chapman.
That's a fabulous cross from Edwards on the half volley that just nobody anticipated.
Richardson found Pani. Edwards is there. Someone just walked past us. We didn't see the game again as Edwards gets the ball in, couldn't get the ball back from Hurst, couldn't get round his man, and Topolage, calm as you like, gets it to a teammate and cleared it, but only as far as Kent Richardson and Connor Pani now. As Hurst does a nice bit of trick to get around. He's got Edwards on the right-hand side. Now he uses time and space. He needs the delivery to come in. Pulls it back across and deflected. The idea was right. And Connor Pani, does he win the corner? No, he doesn't. I think it was a bit of a... Kyle Hurst just went down there. Did seem like he caught a nick on the ankle as he went through before.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, but for a game that we classed as a derby beforehand, there haven't been very many tackles. And I mean, genuinely, have we had 3 or 4 free kicks at most? I'm not sure we've had any of note. You know, we've certainly not had an attacking free kick. Nobody's made a defensive mistake. It's just all been very nice.
Well, our counterparts at BBC Radio Tees have said it's been a very nice game, hasn't it? I think that's a great way to describe it. Yeah, there hasn't been any needle, has there? There's been competitiveness, but there isn't any edge.
Nobody's clattered anybody. No. There was one on Butterfield that wasn't even a foul. The referee didn't give it as a foul. Yeah. In the first half, but beyond that, I know we mentioned this little shoving match with Adam and Alex Reid, but there was nothing in that. And very few tackles. Never mind fouls so far.
54 minutes gone, 0-0. If you are just joining us, and how dare you if you are only just joining us.
And no yellow cards either, worth pointing out.
Yes.
Nobody's come close. Well, actually, Ferguson could, I think, have been booked for one challenge in the first half, wasn't, and he's the only one who's come close.
That was if that had been inbound on goal, it might have been warranting of a sterner caution. But Topolage has the throw here, left-hand side. Charman up against Pani, gets it back in numbers, helping out. Kane Adams back there to help out, and Kent Richardson's the man who can try and relieve some of the pressure, but Hartlepool are going to be able to get that back as Kyle Hurst is allowed back on and seems to be moving freely. But we are seeing, it's end-to-end stuff. You know, both sides are getting their chances, but Ferguson intercepts, gets it to Kane Adam. He ran into trouble, and Sharon was just enough of a block to disrupt, and they can bring the ball forward themselves. It's a nice ball through, a lovely ball, and I don't know.
It doesn't matter what we think he is given as offside.
It has been given as offside, but that was very close, and initial first thought, I think he was onside there.
Yeah, by the time he received the ball, obviously he was behind both Grayson and Richardson. It's Richardson that he managed to spin in behind. We will assume that the assistant referee on the far side has done a good job there. But just go back to saying about it being a good game.
And Gateshead just needs to have the full concentration. Passing is intercepted, and Edwards loses his footing as he gets the ball to Butterfield. Now out to Chapman. Can Chapman get the better of Ben on that left-hand side? He's still going, plays off Ben and goes back to Cartwright. And, he didn't have many options in the centre, but he was heavily marked.
Yeah, that started a fabulous pass from Richardson into the centre circle to find Edwards as well. Had the chance to just clear it forwards, but didn't, and started a good move.
Daly brings it forward, puts it out to Charman. Charman's got Daly on the overlap, but he cuts inside himself, still going. Gets past Edwards, going to go for a shot himself, and I'll say what looked like a comfortable save to be made. It just skims off the hands of Brooks and out for a corner on our left-hand side here.
Yeah, it hit his fingers more than it did his hands. He's done the important thing, which is stop it going in the goal, and it's gone out for a corner. But there's just spaces starting to open up a bit, just the odd little bit of mental tiredness as well as physical tiredness. I know we're only 10 minutes into the second half, but it's just opened up a little bit.
It's been played at a constant tempo, hasn't it? As we await this corner. In it comes. It's going to go up. Oh, great header, and into the ground. As I say, I think it was Reid there that rose, and Brooks clears the ball as a push off the ball. The referee says no. He's brought it back. Well played, the referee there. I thought he He let the game play, let the see what was going to happen, and brought it back. But I wouldn't have said that was a professional foul or anything like that. I think it's more clumsiness than anything else.
Yeah, I think the defender knows exactly what he's doing, and it's a long, long way from the ball, which is why there's no card.
Yeah. Ferguson, left-hand side of the box. Can he get the cross in? He can, but too close to the goalkeeper. And if I'm honest, not enough bodies to aim for in the box either from Gateshead.
No, it's the age-old problem of not having an out-and-out striker, and we can talk about it. We will keep talking about it until Dom Telford comes back, to be perfectly honest. No, I know we've got Nobly on the bench. He's not someone necessarily who gets on the end of crosses that are part of a break.
Yeah.
He has his uses, of course he does, and he brings a huge amount of experience in here. But there's just a sharpness at the top end that's missing, actually from both sides, to be quite honest.
Well, we spoke to on the break at the moment as Gateshead bring the ball forward through Kent Richardson out to Connor Panny. Panny right hand side. Oh, nice little bit of footwork from Panny to bring it in. Now Hurst goes for a shot. Oh, straight to the feet and hands of Cartwright. But we spoke to Frank Newbley on the Heat Army podcast, and quite surprisingly, he's never actually played up top as an out-and-out striker for a full season. He's more been a left-handed sided attacker, and he said he relishes the opportunity to be more central this year.
Yeah, and we've seen him at Gateshead as well be brought on to play through the middle, but not generally by himself. You know, you need someone to get on the end of those flick-ons that he will inevitably win. Just down that right-hand side there, Connor Panny, lots of space. It's just crying out for a curled cross, and he decides to cut back on his left. I know there's a shot on target at the end of it, but it's crying out for a curled ball and make it really difficult for the defenders.
All over for Charman to run onto. He's going to attempt to keep it in. I thought it was just going to bounce a little bit better for him there, but it's a throw into Gateshead on this left-hand side.
Yeah, he's had a good game, Connor Panny. He's a defensive fullback. We've seen him play at centre half plenty of times for different clubs as well. But yeah, you just want your fullback's instinct at that point to be to get the ball in.
Oh, and he's fouled in the process there. His pass was a little bit short, but that was through a foul. Just starting to see the midfield for Hartlepool step up a little bit more when the ball's being passed around. Gateshead not afforded the space they were in the first half.
Now it's interesting. They're picking and choosing their moments now, Hartlepool, because they are still sitting relatively deep. A lot of space on the far side.
Lovely vision there from Kenton Richardson. Chapman did manage to get it under control and back to Joe Grayson. He plays the ball back out to Chapman. Ferguson just gives it back to Chapman. Gateshead just using the ball at the moment, keeping possession.
I think from a Hartlepool point of view, the pressing's a bit disjointed. You've got one or two closing down, but then the rest of them are sitting, and it's giving Gateshead a little bit of space. I know you said they're closing down.
Well, Gateshead intercept a poor pass through to Kane. Adam gets a touch, gets a shot away. Oh, and he's always rising because he was leaning back when he got the shot away. But Gateshead using the press well themselves, forcing errors.
Yeah, and really good interception from Edwards as well. Lovely pass into Adam. His first touch, I don't think was deliberate. I think it hit him, and then he had to react to that touch, which meant his shot was a little bit rushed, and it's on his left foot as well, which he'd rather it wasn't. But we were sort of pondering at halftime if this game might turn on a mistake, and you hope it doesn't, because we'd rather it was a bit of brilliant skill that won a game. But there is enough pressing and closing down. There's still enough intensity in this.
On the attack now as Butterfield gets the ball to Kane Adam. Great strength from Adam. Gets the ball out to Chapman on the far side. Chapman trying to make his man. Tried to go for a cheeky shot at the far post there, and in hindsight, you always think he maybe could have pulled that back, but that's what hindsight's a lovely thing, isn't it?
It is. They've got the width. They haven't had the crosses in. Gateshead. It's still a long way to go. Still half an hour. We're only 2/3 of the way through the game, and changes will come, and the pace of the game will pick up again, because there will be fresher legs coming on, and we know that there are 3 former Gateshead players on the bench for Hartlepool, and there is youth on this Gateshead bench as well that can inject pace into it.
You mentioned the bench there. It just seems to a little bit run out of ideas going forward towards Reed at the moment. It went more long ball. They're not exploiting the wings as much as they were in the first half at the moment. So Could there be an impending change for Hartlepool? But the ball goes up. Topolage wins the header. Only as far as Connor Panny, who brings it down, lays it off to Hurst. Hurst just runs into trouble, and now Sharon can intercept it again there. Good, crucial interception from Fenton John.
He's had a very good, unspectacular, but very solid hour. He wins the ball again, Fenton John, in midfield.
That's a throw into Hartlepool, quickly taken. Connor Panny puts it up to Kane Adam, who his touch is, I think he knew he had lost control of that and tried to win a foul, but strong play from the Hartlepool defender is now Daly on the far side. Francis was really motoring, we didn't see him. Sharon puts it out to Ben. There is men in the centre if they can get a cross in. Hartlepool. And now Francis tries to go do another probing run. He does receive the ball though later on. Ben. And Hartlepool keeping the ball in Gateshead's final third. Just being forced back somewhat at the moment. It's good pressure from Gateshead. Not allowing many angles as Coogan gives it to... Now Hartlepool can bring the ball forward as John opens up, gets it out to Topolage. Topolage up against Hurst. Twisting and turning, plays it inside. Gateshead staying on the feet, no silly tackles. In comes across towards the back post. There's Ferguson to clear it, and Chapman will get to it, but he's quickly closed down and fouled in the process by Jermaine Francis.
Yeah, Gateshead survived that little storm. You can see why Hartlepool have only scored 9 in 10 games. You can also see why they've only conceded 4 in 10 games.
It feels... I don't want to compare it to Gateshead many years ago, but they want to... I wouldn't say walk it into the box, but... I don't know. It doesn't.
I know what you mean. So it's the Mike Williamson era of Gateshead, I think, that you're kind of comparing it to, which is, too much patience.
Yeah.
Really waiting for the perfect opportunity. I don't actually know if you can accuse Hartlepool of that. I think they are trying to get forwards. There'll be one or two will burst forward at pace, but it feels like the rest of the team hasn't kept up with them in thinking terms. And
but here we go. Brings it down. He's going to have Ferguson on the overlap, who he uses. Ferguson threads it in, but cleared by Hartlepool, and Fenton John with yet another fantastic tackle. There's so many interceptions that he's done tonight. He's really stepped up his game as Butterfield showing his strength on the ball and lays it off to Hurst. Hurst has Ferguson back out there, who he uses. Oh, spread it into Kane Adam. He can't get the ball underneath his feet, and snatched at it and deflected, but Edwards wins it back. Lays it off now. Chapman pulls it across. Oh, there isn't anybody there, and cleared by Hartlepool. But good pressure from Gateshead, and now Hartlepool can try and break themselves.
Yeah, they had the numbers, Gateshead, as well. Almost then ended up on top of each other, all a little bit central until it came out to Hurst on that right-hand side. And Adam just didn't have, again, not for the first time, just didn't have the first touch wasn't quite good enough to get it out of his feet for a proper effort on goal. But Gateshead, the game's opening up again gradually over the course of the second half. But Gateshead, I think this is more even. What have we had? Almost 20 minutes of the second half are more even, I think, than the first half was.
Gateshead, can they win the ball in midfield? They can. Fantastic stuff on the far side, and they win the throw as well. Well, we're seeing a lot of work rate from Hurst and Chapman, who have swapped wings, by the way.
Yeah, because and that's I'm glad he said that, because Chapman was the more in the game of the two in the first half, and it's very much Hurst who's more in the game. Chapman's not seen a huge amount of the ball, but it's because they've switched, and Gateshead's first instinct is to go left rather than right.
Ball wasn't the greatest to Chapman there and cleared out in the arc, swapping back, so it must have just been a covering.
I was hoping that I hadn't spent the whole 20 minutes of the first half not noticing that they were on different wings, so I think that was a temporary one.
Yeah. Let's say the last attack, Chapman was definitely down the right. Connor Panny launches the ball up towards Kane Adam, but Topolage was there. Fenton John trying to win the aerial battle, but there's Grayson to clear up and thrusts the ball higher up the pitch. And I think that hit Cameron John's shoulder there, but Gateshead do pick up the loose ball. They are picking up the second ball a lot better. And now Butterfield has space to turn, goes for a shot. He had the keeper scrambling, but he drags it about 4 foot wide.
It is a fabulous first touch because he's managed to control it, turn and get it out of his feet, but genuinely with one touch of the ball. I think he's a little bit too far from goal. I think he could have taken another touch and bought himself 3 or 4 yards before he hit it.
Well, at the minute, it's a lovely run from Sharman, who's very central at the moment. He does have options out wide, and he's used it as Francis now can try and thread it back through for Sharman. Sharman pulls back inside. Oh, great save and cleared. And Gateshead, whether that's Storm, and that's a pull on Butterfield. And I think that might be the first yellow of the game there. A little bit cynical from Sharon.
And Butterfield is instructing Alan Armstrong to bring him off. I think that's Butterfield run his race. He's played 66 minutes. I don't know if they'll be ready enough. Are they going to make Hartlepool going to make the change first?
Jamie Miley is stripped and ready to come on. So it does look like a midfield change we're going to have here. Be interesting to see who they change. I think it might be Gailey.
I was going to say, you can't take Jarman off.
It is Walker.
Yeah. The one we said was sitting in front of that back four. He's actually, the game has moved quicker than he has, I think, in the second half. Still important from a defensive point of view, but hasn't been as involved going forward. But yeah, Jacob Butterfield very much signalling to the bench, that is me done. So we'll see who it is that Josh Holmes, the obvious one, I think.
Yeah.
Given that that's who he replaced in the starting lineup today as well.
Well, Connor Panny picks up the loose ball, nods it to Edwards, gets the ball to Hurst, and got to say, Gateshead have moved the ball so well today to previous games this season, as John does very well to marshal that out. And I'd like to say an apology to John because he's a lot taller at this side of the pitch than what he was on the other side. I think that might be something to do with dimensions and
something to do with perspective and all that sort of thing.
That was the word I was looking for. Wow. Oh, just wrong-footed there. Kent Richardson as the ball dropped and Sharman drives forward. He's got space to open up, but he passes it over to Francis, who gets a shot off. Great save again from Tiernan Brooks. The reactions have kept Gateshead in this game without a shadow of a doubt. And Gateshead just need to weather this little bit of a storm here, as Kent Richardson just down on his honkers at the moment. I don't know if he's pulled something, but he's up. As Kane Adam has his shirt pulled off his back. Referee lets it play on as he's going to pull it back, is he? Yes, he is. Good refereeing.
It's really good because it's the second. There was another foul, so he's not brought it back for the first one. Yeah. He was giving the second foul on Dom that Gateshead, I think, have taken quickly. They almost didn't decide. Edwards just stroked it. They have taken it quickly.
As Hurst has it, left-hand side. Chapman. Butterfield.
And we'll come back to that Hartlepool chance, which I think is the best save of the game so far in just a minute.
Cross in there, only as far as Chapman. Chapman, nice touch. Can Ferguson pull the trigger? Oh, he tried to. I think he thought the overlap was coming. Or I might be doing him a discredit. I don't know if it was taken off his foot. But at the moment, Hartlepool on the attack, and they've got 2-on-2. They have got men coming forward. It's a lovely run from Reid. Reid goes for the shot. Good defending by Gateshead, but there's another pull there as the referee lets it play on. Nice vision. Butterfield tries to send the ball through for Kane Adam, and Cartwright had to come out. It's just stretching the game a little bit now.
It's all got very frantic. It's a free kick for Hartlepool on the halfway line. It started. I mean, Tiernan Brooks has gone down on the edge of his own box as well, having made the save of the game so far. I think Francis had time to pick his spot, and he did, and that's the reason it's the best save is he had the least time to react to it. Gateshead going to make a couple of changes.
Going to inject some pace into the side here, but it's a youthful substitution.
Isn't it just?
In Lucas Lowry and Callum Bone, both products of the academy here at Gateshead. Lucas Lowry played a notable part in Gateshead's first trip to Wembley in the FA Trophy final semi-final against Barnet, and Callum Bone, of course, catching the eye in pre-season and earning his first professional contract. But he is down at the moment, Tiernan Brooks. And number 16 is going to come on for Hurst, I think it looks like. Oh, no.
Well, I have previous for reading the wrong number, but it looked like 37 that went up, and there isn't a 37. The 16 is Lowry.
It's number 7.
To come on.
Is it? Oh no, he's just getting a drink. Well, these fourth officials.
Whoever it is hasn't come off yet.
Yes.
There are still 11 Gateshead players on the pitch. So we're waiting to see another go. Right, there we are.
It is
It's Jacob Butterfield, yes.
So I would imagine we might see Edwards just sit a little bit deeper now. Interesting to see what the dynamic will be of this. If Lowry goes through the centre, possibly.
Just a word on Butterfield as well. 70 minutes, and boy, have Gateshead missed him.
Yes.
And he is just, he's a level above. His vision is touched just that bit better than almost anyone else in midfield. Well, Callum Bones now come onto the pitch, and I don't know who it is that came off.
Chapman on the far side.
Ah, there we are. That explains it.
Chapman and Butterfield leave the pitch, and looks like for like position-wise. Although I say that.
Yeah, the defender on a free kick at the moment is quite difficult to tell, I think.
Larry's on this right-hand side. Well, Gateshead did say this season they were going to have to rely on the youth on the bench and squad rather than go out and sign players, willy-nilly, as we kind of did last year with 54 being involved, I think it was.
Yes.
So Gateshead having to defend this set piece. They're going quite direct with this one. Coogan gets the header on it, cleared by Kent Richardson. It's going to be headed back up towards the edge of the area, and it's fell handball. Was it by Francis? Shot away, hits the woodwork, and now it's been cleared off the line. Fantastic stuff. Did look like there was a possible handball. There wasn't any appeals, I must say. Initial reactions, but Gateshead, the woodwork and the defender saving the day.
That is absolutely brilliant from Connor Pani, because the ball was bouncing all over the place, hit the crossbar, came back, hit the goalkeeper, but he still had the awareness to not stop and watch it, to keep going, get his body in between the ball and the goal. Brilliant block.
Cross into the box. It's a good one. Coogan nods it down. It hasn't been fully cleared by Gateshead yet, and now the cross comes in. It's deep. There's nobody there. Only as far as the edge of the box, Jarman gets a shot away. It hasn't been cleared by Gateshead yet. They're living a little bit dangerously, and there's Hurst. Puts a real shoelaces through it and hasn't been picked up in midfield at the moment by Gateshead, and Hartlepool just... don't know, do they smell blood at the moment?
It's just gone very frantic. It was frantic. Actually, there were 3 chances before those substitutions were made. I thought it might settle down. It hasn't at all.
Topolage, edge of the area, goes for a shot. Oh, and he scores underneath Brooks. He hit it through a crowd of players, and it just skimmed along the grass into the back of the net. 74 minutes gone, and it's Gateshead 0. Hartlepool United 1.
For all the brilliant saves he's made, Taylor Brooks will be really annoyed at that one. It's well struck. It is towards the far post, but it's gone underneath his arms. He's just a split second slow to get down, and it's underneath him before he's really dived at full length. But firstly, it's not just the goalkeeper that defends and keeps the ball out the back of the net.
Yeah.
3 or 4 times Gateshead could have cleared those corners and crosses into the box better than they did. They did eventually.
Yeah.
You just mentioned Kyle Hurst putting it into the sky, but at no point did they really get themselves settled again. That was a frantic 4 or 5 minutes, and it felt like something was going to happen at the end of it.
It certainly didn't relieve any pressure at all in that passage of play. But Topolage, he's got his rewards for being there to take on the chance. And, well, if you don't buy a ticket, you can't win the raffle, can you? So he's... He went for it, and
he struck it really well. I don't want to take too much away from him.
No. As I say, it kept its power across the surface, and I think that's what deceived Tiernan Brooks, that the power that was still on it as it come through the crowd.
And despite the fact they've just scored, they're going to bring on 2 attacking players here, Hartlepool.
Yeah, well, former Gateshead striker Danny Johnson, who's had quite the career in the Football League, Leyton Orient and Walsall, just to name a couple of the clubs that he's played for, Mansfield as well. And let's see, it is going to be Vaden Oliver coming on for, was it Reed that came off?
Charman has come off, I think. Look, Charman. It was certainly, again, it was the 11 that went up on the board, which is him.
Yeah. And I think it was Alex Reed that's come off for Danny Johnson of Aden. So there we go. So attacking options when they've just took the lead. Trying to freshen things up the top for Hartlepool. We've got the best part of 14 and a bit minutes left here. Can Gateshead get a reply?
Hartlepool United, leaving the pitch, number 11, Luke Charman, and number 19, Alex Reed, being replaced by number 9, Danny Johnson, and
Ball
number 27,
up towards Kane Addon, who chases it down. He's done very well to keep the ball in. gets the ball to Lucas Lowry. Pani looks to cross in, but there wasn't much there, and lays it off to Kane Adam, who loses the ball. And Daly plays the ball through, and referee lets the ball play. And
yeah, Adam just fouled Vinny Oliver, and the referee's played a couple of good advantages, and that's another one of them.
Normally we get on the back of the referees and officials, but today can't really complain of any decisions.
No, and I mean, one of the reasons for that is for about an hour he barely had a decision to make. We talked about how nice it was and how few tackles were actually flying in. But yeah, he's been very unassuming as William Davis.
Well, Gateshead need to get back in the rhythm of picking up those loose balls and second balls. They've just seemed to have went off the boil of that in the last 10 minutes. But Kane Adam brings the ball down. Coogan's there, but there's Callum Boone to intercept, and he tried to play it forward for the run of Kane Adam, and just too much on it. Of course, a lot has been talked about Callum Boone, and he hasn't been thrown in the deep end too much.
And that's exactly what this is, being thrown in the deep end. When you've got a game that's just picked up the pace, and then you're coming into it from a standing start. Literally, You've been sitting watching it the rest of the game. It is very difficult to get yourself up to speed that quickly.
Well, Frank Newbley is going through a warm-up to our left-hand side. Could we see the introduction of him? Kane Adam is just stretching a little bit when there's breaks in play. He has been relentless, but at the moment, Matty Daly drives with the ball left-hand side of the box, pulls it into the centre. There's Danny Johnson, and it just hit off the outside of his boot. I don't know if he knew much about it, but it's still in play for Hartlepool, far side. Cameron John gets it back out onto this Ben puts it in, and there's the shot. Oh, offside flag goes up, and well, I thought Johnson might have hit Jermaine Francis. I thought he might have hit the target from there.
Yeah, but the one before it, Danny Johnson really should have. He just hadn't. He hadn't seen it coming. He's still taking a stride when the ball hits him. He hadn't set himself for the shot as well. But it started a lovely chest layoff from Dane Oliver to set Daly wide down the left-hand side as well. And the cross was good, and the finish should have been better. This game will stretch. Gateshead have to go and try and chase something. You might as well lose 2-0 at this stage of the season. You might as well lose 2-0 going and having a go at trying to find an equaliser.
Well, Callum Boone beaten in the air, but I think Cameron John might have done it. It isn't Cameron John, is it? It's Vaden. Oh, no, it is Cameron John. He's all right. He's up. He's feeling the effects of that one, though. Gateshead have the ball through Ferguson. Comes off a Hartlepool player on the far side. I think it was Miley. The ball comes back to Ferguson. Fenton John. Ferguson plays it back to Grayson, back to Ferguson. The best part of 11 minutes left of normal time here. There's been a couple of substitutions, so you'd imagine there's at least 2 minutes to be added on, but it's a little way off just yet.
Curtis Edwards now playing a lot further forward, and it's really just Fenton John in front of that back four now as well, which is fine when you've got the ball and you're attacking, but it just leaves you a little bit exposed out of possession.
Fenton John, I think he wanted someone on the right-hand side. It's went a little bit narrower for Gateshead, but as we say that, Edwards did manage to get to it. And Connor Panny, well, I thought there was going to be a lunging tackle there.
For his sake, I'm pleased he didn't commit to that one.
Yeah. Well, Tiernan Brooks puts the ball up towards Connor Panny. Neither of him and John win the header, and the ball's cleared up in the air. Will that stay in? It won't, and it's a throw into Gateshead just in front of the Hartlepool dugout. Kent Richardson takes that and gives it to Tiernan Brooks, who gets the ball across to the left-hand side. Callum Boone is there for Hurst if he wants to make a run, which he does. Gets the ball and up against Coogan. There's a real height difference there between the two players, but Grayson brings the ball down left-hand side. Drives with the ball still going. He's still going. Grayson plays it into the centre and just too far in front. But I think even if it had been better weight, the defender was always going to get there.
He was caught in two minds, Grayson, whether to throw that in high or fizz it in low, and in the end sort of did neither. A very, very good run for him to have got to that point.
It's a ball over the top. Danny Johnson, calm defending from Kent Richardson there. There's Connor Panny, plays it out to Lucas Lowry. Ball over the top. There's a good run from Curtis Edwards. He brings it down really well. Picks out, Lowry, and it's been put out on the far side. It's a throw into Gateshead.
A wonderful first touch from Curtis Edwards. The ball just dropping over his shoulder.
I think his boots are sponsored by Superglue by the looks of it, as Edwards has the ball again. Plays it inside to Boone. Boone lays it off. Oh, and Lowry just couldn't get on the end of it. It was a nice idea, but...
And he was onside as well. He timed the run nicely. It's just the weight of the pass. And again, that is part of getting up to speed in a game. The balls, everyone else is used to the ball fizzing about for the last 70 minutes, and the likes of Boone and Lowry are having to adapt very, very quickly. You can tell that I know why Alan Armstrong loves them. Callum Boone in particular, his first thought is to go forwards. Yeah. Even if he's facing backwards when he receives the ball, first thought is to turn and run towards the goal. It's what Armstrong wants his teams to do.
It's bravery as well from the young man, or is it the joys of youth?
It's what he's been brought on to do, to be fair. I know he was brought on when it was still goalless, but it is what he's brought on to do, is lift his team up the pitch.
Well, Newbley is stripped and ready for action when there's a break in play. I don't know if Kane Adam will be sacrificed for it. He has put a lot in this evening with running. Of course, at the moment, Hartlepool probing down this left-hand side. Jermaine Francis crosses a deep ball, lingers in the air, that one, and there's a push by Vaden, and it's a free kick to Gateshead.
I'd be amazed if this wasn't Kane Adam coming off when Newbley comes on. He's run himself into the ground at 83 minutes. He's done terrifically well. But, I
just wonder if it could be Fenton John. And, it's David Ferguson. So
wow,
it's a tactical change here. 3 at the back, I would imagine, because Connor Panny's going more central.
Fair enough.
Well, nothing ventured, nothing gained.
No, absolutely. If Kane Adam has got the energy for the last 10 minutes to, including some injury time, to get on the end of Newbley's knockdowns, which we talked about earlier, that he is so good at, then fantastic.
Ferguson, been replaced by number 14, Frank Newbley.
Well, free kick to be taken short to Kent Richardson, just inside the area. He's afforded the space and time to bring the ball forward again. Goes down now, and then a crossfield ball looking for Frank to bring it down, and he does so. Just what you would expect Newbley to do. Still trying as he gets the ball left-hand side, holds it up. He's done very well around the players. He's shown his physicality. And now Callum Boone, free kick. Done very well to get that.
He's taken a real clatter in the back for his troubles, but he knew the challenge was coming, got his body between the incoming challenge and the ball. And this is I don't know if I can remember another Gateshead free kick where they've had the chance to deliver from this kind of position. A little bit central.
Yeah. That's about, 35 yards out, left-hand side of the D. More out towards the corner of the box than the D, as it were. But David Ferguson makes his way around, gets a round of applause from Tiny Weir stand. Can Gateshead capitalise on the added height that is there now with Frank Newbley? It's all about the delivery. Well, Ferguson just saying hello to some of his old teammates as the delivery comes in. It's scooped up, and Kent Richardson was coming round, but all day Cartwright was going to be able to pluck that out the air.
It's just too much height on it, and it's not too long. It's landed in the right place, but it was in the air for too long that Cartwright had all the time to come and time that rightly.
Maybe needed a little bit more whip on it. But at the moment, Gateshead trying to get that ball further forward, and Kane Adam chasing Topolage down the goal scorer. There's ball cleared only as far as Edwards, who a lovely little flick to himself. It's too late for the Ballon d'Or this season as the ball comes across to Hurst on the far side. And he's going to go up against Ben. Can he open up and drive towards the touchdown? He gets the cross in, but it comes back out to him. Hurst Hartlepool are sitting deep again. In it comes, and towards Lucas Lowry, beaten in the air to it, but it's brought down in the centre by Fenton John. Out to Lowry. Can he pull it back across? He can, and the keeper's there. Oh, it's a fumble cleared though. Only as far as Gateshead defenders, and now Callum Bowen tries to turn in the box, and a great interception to stop him running down onto goal. And it's lovely stuff from Gateshead. Can they carry this momentum on as the ball comes to Edwards? Lucas Lowry pulls very wide here, and he's used on the right-hand side. Up against John, cuts inside, goes for a shot, and
Yes, my reaction was the same as yours. He dragged it, but he's dragged it into a defender. That's why they've Gateshead have won a corner.
Well, it's going to be quickly taken. Gateshead do have added height up there. Hartlepool, let it be said, every man back here as well. We've got 3 minutes remaining. I don't know if Tina Brooks was asking to go up for that one, but Edwards lofts one in. Oh, it went right through, and it's going to go out for another corner to Gateshead.
A terrific delivery, that.
A deceptive ball, wasn't it?
Yeah, because it landed. Nobody jumped. It hit players on the head, but nobody jumped because the trajectory of it was absolutely perfect. Nobody quite knew how to deal with that.
Dare I say the backspin on it deceived everybody. Well, there's a bit of pushing and shoving again here. There's going to be another substitution for the visitors. I think is it Nathan Ferguson that's stripped and ready for action? But that will be in the next pass after the next passage of play, as the corner is about to come in from Hurst. Newbley tussling on the goal line. In comes the ball. It's up in the air. Oh, it's fisted away. Not that far. Canapani. There's a foul on the keeper, and it's a free kick to Hartlepool.
I know it wouldn't have counted even if that second ball had gone in, and they are going to make that change now. Hartlepool Ferguson coming on. I think the goalkeeper's been given a little bit too much protection there. I don't think anybody fouled him. I think there were just so many bodies in front of him, he couldn't get to the ball.
I'm presuming it was for the keeper. There might be something else that we didn't see, but we've got a minute and a half left here, and probably about 3 or 4 minutes now with all the substitutions that we've had. Or it is going to be
Francis coming off.
He's put a hell of a shift in tonight, Jermaine Francis. He's been on the right, he's been on the left, he's been on the dead ball line, he's been everywhere.
I think Gateshead and Alan Armstrong in particular will be really frustrated if they don't get anything out of this. I think they've looked livelier in the second half. Didn't play badly in the first half, just didn't really create, didn't quite have that cutting edge.
As I say, it's been an open game, but you've got to take your chances, and I think that's what Hartlepool have done here today. Yes, it wasn't from maybe one of the attackers what they would maybe think of it. It's come from the left back, but he still pulled the trigger in and around the box, and Gateshead maybe just a little bit guilty of not getting them shots away. As ball comes through and Danny Johnson brings it down, falls to Vaden Oliver. Matty Taylor, lovely tackle from Connor Panny, and he's looking to get this ball moving forward. He's looking for the run. Up it goes. Don't know if he picked out either Lucas Lowry or
I was going to say it was between Lowry and Adom, wasn't it? It needed to be right over the top or into feet, and it was just neither in the end.
Well, we are going to see the board come up. We've got 20 seconds or 15 seconds remaining here of normal time. And we can't see the number on the board yet. It hasn't been lifted aloft yet. But as soon as it is, we'll let you know. But I would hazard a guess 3 to 4 minutes.
Yeah, I think you're going to get double that. Yeah,
6 minutes. Well, offside decision given on Newbley.
I think 6 is generous, but from a Gateshead perspective, they'll be delighted because that is time to reset and create another couple of chances.
If they're going by the letter of the law, it's definitely for the 30 seconds for each substitution, isn't it? So
yeah, I'm still not sure we've had 12 substitutions, though, have we?
No, we haven't. Maths has never been my strong point.
I'm surprised at that.
Yeah, as soon as I said that, I regret it.
Because no real injury stoppages of note. Kilhurst went down for about 30 seconds, and that was it. So, yeah.
But obviously we've got 5 minutes left added on here. But regardless of the scoreline, there's a lot of positives from Gateshead here today. There's been fight, there's been creativity. still needs to be a little bit more, firepower. But Dominic Telford isn't too far away. There's still Tyrell Newton to come back in midfield as Danny Johnson keeps the ball in and gets a throw for his troubles. But yeah, and also as well, Gateshead at the minute with 3 academy players on the pitch, their own products, holding their own. And, Gateshead aren't the team, maybe not the club they were in previous seasons, but you've got to look for the positives where they are and, build on that.
Yeah, and I think Conor Pandy's had a terrific game at right back. And Fenton John, two of the youngsters that have been at the club for a little while but not playing here, I think have had fantastic games.
I think they'll be candidates for man of the match. Don't know who the man of the match will be, but I think Conor Panny and Kane Adams just limping a little bit here. So be thankful at the end of the game is nearby, but Topolage has a free kick.
This is going short, isn't it?
Yeah, and they're going to try and keep this in the corner. Hello, I say that. Commentator's curse, Daly. Although they're doing it well, holding it up. Passing the ball. Oliver Vaden lays it off. Edge of the area, shot off. And it was Jamie Miley just couldn't get on top of that one, and over the bar it goes. Really should have been hitting the target from there.
I mean, credit to Callum Bourne for closing him down quite so quickly as well, because that's what Gateshead didn't do down here. It was 3-on-3, and Hartlepool just found the space to they could have kept it in the corner. Maybe Gateshead thought that's what they were going to do, but they did work it out really nicely.
Well, headed clear by Hartlepool, only as far as Grayson, and nodded out for a throw on the halfway line. Nearly quickly taken, now taken up towards Newbley, who gets it to Kane Adam, but I think he cuts a very tired figure out there now, Kane Adam. As Danny Johnson holds it up. Played out to the far side. Danny Johnson gets it back in the centre. He tries to bring the ball forward and does, and goes for a shot. And Teenan Brooks with a dramatic save.
Yeah, very unorthodox save. I don't know if it took a deflection. I'm not sure it did. He kind of changed his mind as to whether to control it with his feet. Ended up having to put his hand down next to his right foot to stop it. But yeah, we've played 3 of the 6 minutes of injury time, minimum, obviously. But Gateshead haven't threatened in those additional minutes yet.
No, it's a lovely ball and a lovely run on the right-hand side. Can Hartlepool get the ball in the centre? And they're not committing men forward, and you wouldn't expect them to really at the moment.
But if you're not, that's criminal. Keep the ball in the corner, for goodness sake, from a Hartlepool point of view. But it gives Gateshead a chance.
Ball forward for Lowry to try and get onto, and Topolage. Calm, beautiful defending from number 23, the goal scorer, as Gateshead pick the ball up in midfield again. Do they have another throw of the dice left in them in these later stages? The ball over the top towards Lowry. Kane Adam tries to get it to Newbley. Too many legs to try and thread it through for Gateshead. And, Danny Johnson gets past his man and drives forward with the ball. He's only got one thing in mind, and that's the goal. And, Vaden Oliver would have really wanted a ball past him there. Danny Johnson still has it, goes for a shot, and, shades of Danny Johnson at Gateshead in the past. He only has eye for goal.
Yeah, tale of 2 centre-halves that when Joe Grayson spun a little bit too easily and did not have the pace, having played 90 minutes, to catch him. But his compatriot at centre-half bailed him out. Lovely positioning from Richardson just to make sure Johnson did not get an easy shot away.
Well, we've got a minute and 15 seconds. There's up to Newbley in the area. There's a pull on the shirt. Shut off! Great save! Great save from Cartwright from Kane Adam. Kane Adam had the opportunity there. Alan Armstrong has his head in his hands, but it isn't over yet. Hartlepool bring the ball forward. Well, that was a golden opportunity, and now Hartlepool urge their players forward as the ball comes to Danny Johnson, intercepted, and now Gateshead on the attack. We've got 45 seconds remaining. Lowry, crucial tackle from Topolage, and great stuff from Vaden Oliver to get to the loose ball. And now the ball goes out of play on the far side, and Gateshead have 30 seconds to try and get one more attack in this game.
Tonight is a total of 1,651.
So if you didn't hear that in the background, 1,651 as an attendance is fantastic, and credit to the Pools fans on the far side. That chance for Kane Adam, he couldn't have struck it any better. It dropped perfectly for him. He's not really got the energy to move much now, but he struck it beautifully.
Well, Panny looking for Newbley, just couldn't get to it there, and anywhere will do for Hartlepool at the moment. They have an opportunity now to get the ball forward, Gateshead. Still, Callum Boone lays it off to Fenton John, scoops it into the area, and that was more blind than anything else. Didn't have a target in mind. And there is the full-time whistle. Hartlepool United run out 1-0 winners here with Baz Topolage with the goal in the second half. And we'll have it saying, Colin, lots of positives come there from Gateshead. They were in it all the way till the end, very competitive. But again, it's that in front of goal. We did have the opportunity there, and that's been the difference between two sides. One side took the chance, one side didn't.
Yeah, well, there's lots of elements to it. First, I think Gateshead played pretty well. I think if you're going to give them a mark out of 10, it's probably 7.5. Around that kind of mark, because yes, Hartlepool were good and quick, and yes, they were dragged about a little bit, but generally looked fairly solid at the back. Some good midfield performances as well from Fenton John and Curtis Edwards in there. There was a bit of width. The final ball wasn't quite there. The finishing definitely wasn't there. There was as much an issue with creating good chances as there was with taking them, I think, for Gateshead today. I think it is early enough in the season to still say that was a good performance, and there's lots of positives and there's stuff to build on.
It's still a team bedding in. We're still seeing players coming back. And, if you had, no slight on Frank Newbley, but if you had another attacking option to come on that isn't under 18, and you are going to have a little bit more of a chance to create something. But take nothing away from Hartlepool United. They've earned their 3 points here tonight. Can't argue with it, and good luck to them for the rest of the season. It's a big shot in the arm for them, but Gateshead really do, in their next two away games, away to Braintree and Morecambe, need to continue what they did tonight.
Yeah, I mean, neither of these two teams had won since Bank Holiday weekend back in August. That ridiculous Gateshead 4-3 comeback win at Yeovil. So for either team to win tonight was going to be huge for them. Gateshead cannot be too down. I'll go, been really interested to hear what Alan Armstrong says afterwards. He's given Tiernan Brooks and Kyle Hurst big hugs on the pitch, as well as Hartlepool quite rightly go across and take the plaudits and congratulate their own supporters. The referees leaving the pitch as well down in front of us had a pretty good game, relatively straightforward game for them, I think, in the grand scheme of things. Jacob Butterfield, one of the few times the referee hasn't been booed leaving the beach. But yeah, Jacob Butterfield as well, instrumental all the way through. But 70 minutes after only not even playing 60 minutes in a year, showed his class, showed what he's all about. And Gateshead have a stronger midfield with him available. There's still Tyrell Newton to come back. There's still Dominic Telford to come back. And then at the back, there is still Max Melbourne as well. So there is strength in depth coming. But at the moment, you have to look at the bench tonight and just say it was lacking that little bit of quality to keep the game going. Yeah, I think they would have been okay if they'd been trying to hold on to the game. I think the players on the pitch would have been able to just drop back, sit back. If you go to a back three, then fine, that can work because Conor Panney's got that flexibility. But you're right, when you're chasing the game, when you're trying to find a winner, a spark from somewhere, Lucas Lowry's probably got it in him. It's just very difficult. I kept saying it to get yourself up to speed that quickly. And there were a couple of times where he was just caught on his heels when the ball was coming out to him. Callum Bourne looked really lively, but again, struggling to get his foot on the ball because the pace of the game was already pretty high at that point. It got a bit frantic at times in the second half. It opened up. Gateshead had opportunities. It'll be interesting to hear, we're sitting next to our colleagues from BBC Radio T. It's interesting to see what they think, what they make of that Gateshead performance, because actually, I think it's quite a simplistic thing to say. I think they played all right.
Yeah,
there's a really good team in there.
But you see, I know the conditions were bad on Saturday, but you could say that on Saturday as well. I think that it is going in the right direction. They're not, yes, they've lost by a goal in each game, but they're in the games. They're competitive. They just need to have that killer instinct in the final third. But Colin, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure to be with you.
Pleasure's
thank
mine.
everyone that's joined us. Thank you for joining us on DAZN and, of course, on the Heed Army Podcast audio stream. We'll be back for the next home game and, of course, the Heed Army Podcast live on Friday night. Remember, hit like and subscribe on the audio stream. And remember, you can watch every game live on DAZN this season. So why not subscribe? And it's $14.99 a month. And on that note, goodbye, everybody.